Way too much time.
Way too much time working on this last weekend. While you were listening or watching our recorded programming.
Or napping.
Or whatever it was that you were doing last weekend, we were out here working our fingers to the bone, redoing the studio. Notice we got signage down here in front of the table now.
Signage.
We got some nice artwork on there. We moved some pictures around. We got the in wheel time clock up there. We got Wally over here. We got a little color in the background. I mean, we're styling.
We have a Christmas cap on Wally, too.
We do. That's going to stay on there. Wally.
Well, Wally was given to us in the Christmas season.
Yes,
so.
And that was from our friends, the Emmons brothers, down at...
that was their victory in Dallas this year.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Wally from Ennis.
Yep.
Yes, Wally from Ennis. Actually, I think Wally was from Southern California, but whatever. Well, speaking of lounging in the sand on the beach... Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mr. John Gray, Gulf Coast Auto Shield proprietor.
Ta-da!
And
extraordinaire.
And Johnny, it's good to see you.
Good morning, boys. How are y'all?
Well, we're doing good. Thank you very much for asking. We were going to talk to you today about getting your car ready for the spring ride and drives, or... for me, personally, it's going to be the Hot Rod Tour of Texas that's coming up in April. And still waiting to get my hotel reservations because it's supposed to happen this weekend that they've decided on where we're going to stop along the way and where we can get some decent prices on motel rooms.
Kathy and I are thinking about going.
I know.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to having you guys
taking the Lexus or the Caddy?
Yep, Lexus.
Take the Lexus?
Yeah. Although the Caddy is probably more ancient than the Lexus, I would imagine.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, is it 20 years old yet?
It's a 13.
It's a 13.
Yeah. So it's 11.
10 years old.
Oh, it's 10 years old.
Coming up on 11, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, my car is now 13 years old. No, 23 years old.
23 years old, yeah.
23 years old.
Mine's 53.
Is it fit? No, it's not. Oh, your Oldsmobile.
The Oldsmobile's 53 years old.
Yeah, but you don't ever drive the Oldsmobile.
Not enough.
When is the last time you drove the Oldsmobile?
About a month and a half ago.
Really?
Yep.
You got new tires on or something.
I got new tires on it back in March, but had it out about a month and a half ago. I had to get it ready because the kids were coming home.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, I don't want to bum out John since he's on the line with us, but has he ever massaged the paint on that thing?
Yeah, he did it just before Autorama.
When we showed it. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
And it still looks wonderful.
It does. Yeah, he does a good job. Well,
how are the wheels on that Corvette, Don? How'd those work out?
Well, so far so good. I'm going to give it a wash job this afternoon, and I haven't really driven it enough to see if the coating on the wheels that you put on there for us, I don't have enough brake dust. I think I drove it maybe 30, 40 miles last weekend to stir the juices in it, make sure that everything was good.
You taking it to Coffee and Chrome tomorrow?
I'm planning on it, yeah. Nothing is ever definite in my life. That's the plan. We'll just leave it at that.
Life, death, and taxes, the only definite things in life.
That's right. Speaking of which, I thought that would be a good place for us to start this morning, John, because I had never heard about coating the wheels, and maybe you could explain that to everybody, because I had to buy a new set of wheels for the Corvette because the old wheels that were on there were leaking because the inside bead of the wheels had corroded because of the moisture that was trapped between the actual bead of the tire and the wheel. And it had corroded so much, you could actually put your fingers in the corrosion. It was a groove in there. I had no clue.
Letting the air out.
Well, yeah.
It
was leaking. And then we've discovered that is done by the guys that put water on the inside of the bead when they mount it. Well, it has no place to go because now you've got it all smashed in there. Now, whatever discount tire up there has some new goo or
Kind of
something.
looks like a wax.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Do you know what that is, John, that they're using now? They're not using water anymore.
No, it's a lubricant of some kind.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it just helps with getting that tire sealed or brought back inside the bead of the tire so they can put air in it.
Yeah, and so then that moisture doesn't get trapped in there like the water that ruined the wheels. Of course, I don't really know the exact age of those wheels because I bought the car with those wheels on it. And that was in...
And those weren't the regular factory wheels either. He just switched them out.
There were Chinese wheels that were on there. That's what these are out here now. The ones that I have now are knockoffs, so to speak, of the the C7 Corvette Z06 wheels. That's what those are. Knockoff.
Good.
Huh?
They look really nice on the car, and they just brought it a different look.
Yeah, it definitely did. And I was kind of worried about it. Well, the other thing is I'm trying to go for is what they call black chrome. Well, they're
As opposed to the black chrome people get because the brake dust gets on them and they all look
that's right.
funky.
That's right. But I will tell you that Serene put it distinctly and perfectly. It's not black chrome. It's smoky chrome.
Okay.
That because it's black chrome has that real dark tint to it.
And this
I can see that Mars has walked back in.
I can hear.
Yeah. Mars, why don't you come and sit down and join us?
So, John, tell us the components of the coating that you put, not the components, but the action the coating does to keep the brake dust from collecting on the wheels, which a lot of people with high-performance cars, they hate the brake dust that gets on their wheels, and you've got a process to minimize that.
Well, you're still going to get the brake dust on the wheels, no question about that. But what a coating is going to do, it's going to make it a lot easier to clean up and maintain those wheels over time. And if you want to do it right, you're not just going to put a coating for a paint or for the exterior on a car. You want to use a dedicated wheel coating on the calipers and on the surface of the wheel, inside the barrel and on the outside of it. And that's going to protect it from getting permanent staining from the ferrous oxides that are coming off the brake pads. Because remember, brake pads get extremely hot. Mm-hmm. So that metal that's coming off tends to want to bond to the wheel much more than like a regular dirt would. So I've seen wheels that have gone so long between cleanings that you're having to use an acid to try to remove the brake dust off of them, and sometimes you just can't do it. It's so built up on there. But now a lot of people also have the misconception that you put a wheel coating or you put a coating on anything, hey, I can just spray it off with water. Well, that's not really necessarily true. Yes, it has better release properties than not having any sort of coating on the car or on the wheels at all. But you still need to use a really good quality, safe wheel cleaner. And one of my favorites is Sonax Full Effect or Sonax Wheel Cleaner Plus. They both have a chemical in it that reacts with the ferrous oxides and the metals that come off of the wheel or come off the brake pads, and you can see that start to work because it'll start to turn purple.
What's that stuff called?
Sonax Wheel Cleaner Plus is my favorite wheel cleaner, and anything with that, I'm not sure what the name of the chemical is that is inside these wheel cleaners, and a lot of them have that chemical in them now. It smells terrible. You'll know what you've got when you smell it, and it will. You'll, like I said, you'll start to see it turning purple after you spray it on the wheel, and you'll want to let it dwell on there for a few minutes. And then what I will do is I'll agitate it. I'll get the proper wheel brushes that will stick inside the barrel of those wheels between the calipers. Sometimes you get a really, really tight distance between your caliper and the wall of your wheel.
Yeah, there's a small
the barrel
tolerance.
of the wheel. I mean, on my GT500, I mean, there is nothing. So to clean the wheel properly, I clean
Take the wheel out.
90% of the wheel, and then I back it up a few feet, and then I clean the rest of the wheel.
So
there's really nothing I can get in there.
The process of the coating, is it a dip? Is it a spray on? Is it a wipe on? How do you do that?
You can spray it on if you want to, depending on how intricate the surface of the wheel is. But in most cases, it is wiped on. You let it sit and set up, and then you're gonna wipe it off 20 to 30 minutes later, depending on the coating. And after that, you want to let it. You don't want to put it back on the car. You don't want to drive it for probably 24 hours, and then you're going to be safe to drive it. And it will last. Ours lasts for years. Our Fine Lab wheel coatings. Well, remember, it's a harsh environment with the heat and the metals. And a lot of them don't last that long, but ours is a very aggressive industrial type coating that will last you for a long, long time.
And again, the purpose of the coating is to keep the contaminants coming off of the brakes from adhering to the wheel. But it also makes it easier to clean, doesn't it?
Makes it much easier to clean. Yes, it does. And you will get a very large, if you just go to spray it like with a pressure washer, you'll get a high percentage of the brake dust off the wheel. But that last little bit, you're going to need to agitate it with a wheel brush and use some sort of wheel cleaner as well.
I need a brush to get in between the spokes on the wheel.
There's a bunch of good ones. So in between the spokes, I'm going to recommend to you a boar's hair brush. And if you go to there's a website called Detailed Image. So wheel woolies are my favorite type of wheel brushes, and they have some that go in between the spokes and go into the barrel of the wheel. But they also have some of the best boar's hair brushes that you clean the surface, the face of the wheel with. And man, that makes having a good boar's hair brush, and they will last. I would say we could get a year out of a boar's hair brush, and how often we're using them. So they're very, very high quality. A couple wheel brushes are going to cost you $50-$60. They're not cheap if you buy the good ones.
But if you buy the alpaca ones or the yak,
right,
instead of the boars, a yak air wheel cleaner.
Yeah,
but these are things. It's kind of an investment. You're going to get 3 to 4 times the use out of the really good wheel brushes, say like from Wheel Woolies, that you would from something that is going to cost you a quarter of the price. So I would recommend that buy the good stuff first, because it's going to last you a lot longer. And I'd also recommend this. Remember, one of the rules of car washing is you don't ever want to. Let's say you don't want to take that wheel woolie out and then start using it on your paint somewhere on the car. You just don't cross-contaminate anything from your wheel bucket, any kind of towel you use on your wheels. Everything stays separate when you're using it for wheels. You don't want to use it on your paint afterwards, because brake dust is metal, and a lot of metal, and that could definitely scratch the paint on your car.
Yeah, no doubt. It's Wheel Woolies, but what did you say that you get the Sonex Wheel Cleaner Plus Detail something?
Detailed Image is a great place to buy supplies.
Yep, I just posted a link on our website.
Amazon will also have Sonax Full Effect and Sonax Wheel Cleaner Plus. And I'm not sure if they carry, I think they do carry some Wheel Woolies. But I would make sure that that's the brand that you buy, because they're just the best that I've found.
I want to wear those Wheel Woolies.
That was your nickname in high school.
It was. Yes. It was a Wheel Woolie.
Yeah. Say that fast 3 times.
Yeah.
My nickname was White Chocolate.
White Chocolate.
Yeah.
We'll get nothing but trouble if we pursue that line.
You're right. You're right. I'm in.
Didn't mean to make y'all uncomfortable.
Not at all. No, not at all.
It did.
It did, but we kind of ask for that, don't we?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so my car's looking pretty good. I want to ask you, I really hate to even say this, but because I know that you're probably going to cringe, but I really do like the Meguiar's Gold car wash.
It's good. That's one of the okay. So,
he said it's good.
Yeah, the Gold class. So we've done tests on different car washes.
Yeah,
and the really important thing with a car wash is it serves two purposes. It's one, it's a lubricant, but the other, it's got to have a surfactant that's gonna help you clean the paint.
Yep.
And that actually has really tested out very, very well. Matter of fact, I don't know of a better car wash soap that you can go and buy at Walmart or at just your everyday run of the mill store. Also, it's really reasonably priced, and it not only does it work well in the bucket, but it works pretty well in a foam cannon too. When you've got a dirty car, before you ever touch it, the best thing to do is to run a soap through a foam cannon and foam that car up and let that sit on the car. And what that's doing is the surfactant in the soap is actually eating into and loosening up the dirt that's on the car, and then you're going to come back and you're going to wash that down and remove as much of that grime and dirt from the surface of the car that you possibly can before you even touch it. So I always say the less you touch the car while you're washing it, the better off you are. So that's why we try to dry our cars without a towel. We will blow dry them in essence. And anytime you touch a car, I don't care if you're washing it, if you're drying it, it's friction, And if you have some really small particles of dirt on there, you can cause swirling and scratching and whatnot on the car. That especially if you've spent some time polishing or whatnot, then you've just gone back and you've redone the damage that you've taken out.
John has the coolest collection of cars that he actually puts coatings on and that sort of stuff in the shop.
Oh, yeah.
What's the fun stuff you've got in the shop today?
The coolest thing we've got today is a new GT3 RS, and a 911 GT3 RS, and this is it is I swear to you could put that on the track at the 24 hours Daytona with the rest of the GTD class, and it would hold up. This is the nastiest 911 I've ever seen.
How much is something like that? $500,000?
Pure race car.
This one's spec'd out at 320. And I like the guy's going to drive it. So he had a GT3 before this. He's a cool dude, man. And he had a GT3, a 992 GT3, which is the new generation, and now he's got this GT3 RS. And he didn't put the carbon buckets, racing seats in it. He put the seats that I would put in one. They're going to be 18-way comfort seats, and it is. I'd like to. If you'd like to come out see it, I'd walk you out there because it is worth looking at.
No doubt,
for sure.
Speaking of seats, I'm thinking I might want to look into getting some seats for the Corvette because the draw on the battery turns out to be the driver's seat, and now the passenger seat, the motor on it, I don't know whether it doesn't work or whatever, but we tried to adjust it last weekend and it does nothing. And the seats, they're a pain in the butt, actually, what they are. So
how often do you move them? Why don't you lock it in place and unplug it?
Well, I mean, there's that. I guess I could do that.
I mean, once you get comfortable, just unplug it and the draw goes away, and you're not moving the seat.
Well, there's no more draw on it. You had the draw.
No,
fixed.
the draw is fixed, and that's certainly an idea. But I thought about getting some other seats. What are these 18-way seats you're talking about? What are they? $10,000 a piece?
No, actually, they're one of the more they're one of the more affordable Porsche seats.
Now, in your mind, how affordable are they?
Well, it's relative, isn't it?
It is. That's true.
You're buying a 911, and
at 320,
get one of those Yeah, well, this particular one, but this is a seat that you can get into a base 911. So this is your GT3 RS, and I will
look at the size of the spoiler on the back of that thing.
And that's functional.
Well,
that's not just there to help push it around.
We're gonna get to the spoiler here in just a second. This thing is straight up nasty. It is amazing. But look at the pistons back on the spoiler. You see the red pistons back there over there?
Yeah, I can see them.
So this has active DRS like a Formula One car.
Oh wow!
So you can see the split between the the two wings.
Yep.
And it will it senses when you're on a straight. You can activate your DRS to get a better, I guess, a better top end on it. But this car is amazing.
And he's going to drive this every day on the street.
No, he won't drive it every day, but he will drive it, and I think that's pretty cool.
That's a car that is perfect for the track down in Angleton, Houston Motorsports Ranch, I guess it's called now.
Absolutely, it is, and it would also be absolutely at home at COTA because of the speeds, the top speeds.
What are the top speeds on that thing? Is it 200-mile-an-hour car?
Oh yeah, oh easy. Yes, it is.
I would think you would need some kind of speed like that for that spoiler system to work.
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine that it would work at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
too.
but I mean to be effective.
Well, it's probably got some level of downforce in the 50, 60 mile an hour range.
Yeah.
Oh sure.
You know, and the
But
faster
from what
you
I
go, the more
understand,
downforce it creates.
what I understand, when you close that wing off, at high speeds it adds. I could be wrong, but it adds an extra 800 pounds of downforce.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, this is a legitimate race car.
Hauls a lot of woolies.
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. And
well, that's what
of course,
Porsche is known
this
for.
car won't have a lot of brake dust on it, just because of the fact that it's going to have ceramic brakes.
Of course it is. What are you doing to it?
We did on a car like this, you have to do a full body paint protection film on it.
Gotcha.
You don't have a choice. I mean,
So it's almost like a
too
clear
good a
wrap.
car. Oh yeah, the bulk of what we do here is paint protection films, and yes, this entire car is covered in a urethane layer that you could throw your keys across the hood and it would not damage anything.
Well, it probably damaged something because the owner of the car would probably react and punch you in the face. Don't be throwing your keys across my car, you idiot.
We wouldn't do that.
Damaged,
but
yeah.
if I go out and show somebody my truck and we put film on the hood of it, of course, I will do that to my personal truck, to show somebody. But yeah, this is outstanding. And this is a different film we put on. This is kind of cool. This Range Rover was gloss black, and now it's satin black because we have a film that is paint protection film that is satin, and
Nice.
it was meant for matte vehicles. It absolutely disappears on matte paint, but you put it on matte cars or put it on glossy cars, and it turns satin. And it's kind of a cool look. It's a pretty neat look.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I haven't seen that.
Was that
I got
also
a
what
Zio.
you did to that Austin Martin SUV? Because that had a
Yes.
satin black finish to it as
It
well.
had a satin black paint job, and we put that film on top of it. And then we have the Z06 over here, which is for the money, there's nothing better. Maybe it's just an outstanding race car.
Wow, that's a brand new Z06. I haven't even seen one.
Hugger orange.
Has the any body parts been upgraded for the Z06 or made special than the regular Corvette?
It's got different aero on it for
It
sure.
does. Okay.
But I think I like the body style a little bit better on it. But it is it's a good looking car for sure.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
wish I could
yeah.
fit in it. It'd be nice if I could get in it and get out of it, but I
Yeah.
can't. So
How are your
what
knees?
happens when you're
By the way,
6'5"?
yeah. So how are your knees?
You know what's funny? You should ask. This morning was the first morning I got up and I didn't think about it.
Oh, good.
It's been a rough run. But
he had knee
that's
replacement, if you didn't know. Yeah.
See, a little pun there. Knees, rough run.
He was so excited that he was going to be joining us that he didn't bother with the knee.
I know. And speaking of which, that's the time for us to let you go.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
John, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you very much. John Gray, Gulf Coast Auto Shield, getting your ride ready. We're talking about wheels. We're talking about all sorts of good stuff with John.
Make your life easy, getting it coated.
Exactly. We're going to take a break now.
Oh, okay. I got the wrong screen up.
That's okay because we're going to have to move you to another segment.
That's fine. Perfectly okay.
All right.
No problem.
I promise
Let me
we'll
get the
get
break
you.
up, and we'll go.
Okay. Hey, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream our 3-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Like pancakes, our podcasts are good and hot and at your fingertips for your favorite podcast outlet source. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 of the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In-Wheel Time Car Talk.
Podcasting and streaming worldwide, it's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, our go-to road racer aficionado, Richard Tomlin, joins us talking about SCCA. Conrad will have the In-Wheel Time Car Clinic and a review of the 2024 racing season that's just about to get underway. Jeff's going to have his highway stripes that glow in the dark. That's a feature we're going to have. Yeah. And we'll have this week's automotive news. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And we're also glad to join Richard Tomlin down at Apex Auto Works. Richard, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Well, very well. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah. It's been a good one so far.
Has it?
Keep this going.
Yeah, good. Well, let's see. What are you working on down there?
Yeah, usual. Been clobbered with BMWs recently. Seems like a lot of BMW people got hit over the holidays. So working on a couple of the BMW modern and vintage.
Yeah, so you're throwing a motor in what was it, an E36?
Yeah, I got an E36. We got a 2002. We've got a brand new X3. So quite a variety right now.
Interesting. Do you like working on BMWs?
We work on them.
Better than a Corvette, huh?
They're not a Chevrolet. How about that? They're not a Chevrolet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you ought to just stick an LS in one of them.
And tub it out.
We've been down that path. We were actually a part of the first team that actually did that, and now that kit is sold by Vorschlag Motorsports out of Dallas.
Oh, wow.
And that's almost 20 years ago, believe it or not. So, been a long time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's focus in on SCCA road racing. Can anybody do that?
Anybody with a driver's license can walk up and come participate with us tomorrow, basically.
Where?
Tomorrow is our biggest event of the year for autocross. I don't know why, but January events tend to be the largest for us. We've had records of 285 people showing up to autocross with us on one day. We're looking at about 200 cars tomorrow. Starts about 7 a.m. up at the police academy. If you're not signed up at this point, it costs you $55 to come out and drive your car or properly equipped SUV or wagon.
So this is basically parking lot cone racing, and you're not racing side by side with somebody else. You're racing the clock.
Correct. You're racing the clock, and we put 25 seconds between each car, so there's no chance of crossover or getting caught up unless there was something major. In 25 years of this, I think nationally we've had like 6 or 7 accidents total. On any given weekend, SCCA has over 6,000 cars racing in autocross alone.
How do you get involved in SCCA racing?
SCCA is really easy to get involved. I mean, that's what started me down this path. 25 years ago, 26 years now. I've got my 25-year pin, so I guess it's been 26. But $35 a year for membership gets you into the calendar and all the events, although now all that's available on the World Wide Web. Our local one is houscca.com, so houstonscca.com. The major one is scca.com. That's national. And the national stuff is where a lot of people that are aspiring to be the biggest and greatest, I mean, that's where the Foyts, that's where the Unsers, that's where all of them came from. That's where your Shelbys came from. That's where your Ken Miles come from, is SCCA roots. It's where it all starts.
I had a friend of mine, notice I said had a Corvette, and he was really into road racing. And he basically stripped off the entire bottom of the car's suspension.
Wow.
And put this custom road racing suspension on the car. I didn't even know there were kits for Corvettes that did that, but he spent if you looked underneath the car, you'd think, wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, there's a lot of changes. What are the changes that are done to the suspension for a track car?
The first thing you'll see is going with much stiffer spring rate, slower acting shocks, so they slow down how the car actually moves. And the biggest thing you'll find is alignment. People will tweak and tune on alignment every event. Some people are actually adjusting alignments in the parking lot. Depends on how competitive you want to go. There are other people that will drive to the track on the exact same tires that they're going to run around and play on. So some people are out there to play, and some people are out there to smash skulls.
Yeah, well, this was not that, but I will tell you that he did tweak shock absorbers and alignments and tire pressures. Explain all that. Why?
So the tire pressure thing is an amazing one, because after you've been autocrossing for a while, some people are much faster than others to pick it up, but you'll get to where around an autocross course, you can tell a difference of 2 PSI in tire pressure front to rear in a car. You can tell when it's actually down from optimal performance, and that all translates over to your daily driver when you're driving it. It's like you just know that something is a little bit off, and it seems crazy to think that 2 PSI is noticeable, but it truly is once you start getting tuned in and understanding what your car is doing. The alignment part of it is just the ability to make the car turn immediately when you want it to turn. And that's usually achieved autocross with what we call toe out. So your toe out, imagine your pizza slice or french fries in snow skiing. So basically you're taking your skis and basically you're just putting them just a little bit out. So once a little bit out and you immediately make that right tire is already just a little bit out. So it makes that instant transition to suck the car in around the cone. Everybody tweaks that a little bit different. Some are, a 16th of an inch, some are an eighth. Some people are aggressive in the heavy metal classes, which are the cars that are over 3,500 pounds, American V8s. They'll run almost a quarter inch of toe out on slicks, but those cars change direction like Ice Skater. It's amazing how they make a car that heavy move and transition.
Well, really, I mean, it seems to me that if you want to get really serious about autocrossing, there are different stages that you can spend money in, and I think that the first one is getting yourself a set of track tires.
Well, so that used to be the case. Now we've got street tire classes. So now you can literally show up on what you're on and you'll be competing against other street tire cars.
Yeah.
Now, are there better street tire cars or street tires? Of course. But you can show up and actually be competitive out of the box. I think we're like 43 classes now. I'm the frowner of having so many classes because it seems like not everybody gets a trophy. There's a lot of trophies. I prefer having 3 or 4 classes and let's go crown a champion. But there are classes they can get in and be competitive. They may only have 9 or 10 people to beat, but that's 10 people to go beat up on.
That's an interesting thought process there. So what are the most popular street tires out there that not only still hold up on the street with some sort of rain shedding possibilities and actually do well on the track? What brand? What would you go with?
It is Houston, so we do have to worry about the weather. But the hot one right now is the Yokohama AO52. And that falls into a category they call 200 tread wear. And this is a mythical number that came up in how quickly a tire wears out. Like our real race tires are like a 40 tread wear, they're soft. But you go to a Michelin, it's like 800, 900 tread wear. Michelin will last you, 50, 60,000 miles. These tires will last you on the street probably 10, maybe 8,000 miles. So you'll change them a lot faster, but when you show up to the track, you will be amazed at how well a street-driven tire can work.
And they're very sticky when you heat them up.
Has their tire they like, but the Yokohama is the hot button right now.
Yeah, very
sure.
sticky.
Do most of them drive out there on their street tires and then?
Yeah, I would say 90% of the autocrossers drive their vehicles to the event, and they may bring a little utility trailer with their spares. They don't fit inside the car, and they'll change tires in a parking lot. There's probably 90% that do that. You only got about 10% of the cars that are trailered. And those are just dedicated autocross cars.
The heavy metal cars.
But I was thinking about with the tires, when we were talking about the tires.
They still drive them.
Susan Trimble Knapp says she's a fan of the Falcon RT 660s.
Susan plays a lot. She runs with a couple of HPDEs as well. Her car, I would be interested to see the weight of her car. It's got to be 3,800 pounds because hers is still full interior. But she's out almost every weekend playing with us somewhere.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Tell me, is it like a first or second gear autocross course you set up there at HPD?
Autocross is almost always second gear. Yeah, usually you come out of the first, second corner, you're in second gear. You'll be in second gear for the rest of the course. Gotcha.
So you don't have to really worry about shifting in the corners and stuff like that.
It's just braking.
It's really not a high-speed event. No. This is more along the lines of a tiptoe around the course.
Well, it depends on how fast you go in second gear.
I think once you're in the car with someone that is truly in second gear and enjoying the course, you won't call it a tiptoe. I promise.
Oh no!
It's the distance
not like
and the gates you
gotta go.
They are apart.
Yeah, you're up to third.
It makes road racing look calm.
Yeah, you're not having to go up to third, come back down to second.
Yeah.
And
So the course out at the police academy, is that something that you guys set up, or are you using the roads that are already built into the police academy?
So you have to use the nature of what they've built, which is a large figure eight with a junction on the side that ties the two figure eight loops together. And we basically set up our own course on that. So most of it's a 2-lane concrete pad The backside's got a lot of camber on it, and we basically set up the gates, the cones, where we want, whether it's left lane, right lane, in the middle, just a little bit offset, and that's what lays out your course that you'll drive through as quick as possible, time down to 1,000th of a second, and then at the end of the day, we crown a trophy on who was fastest
in the class.
You can change it up a
per
little
class.
bit.
Yep.
You know, within,
every event
within the asphalt that you got to work with.
He said asphalt.
Yeah, you'll never run the same
Concrete.
course twice. That's the other benefit of autocross is you're going out there and seeing what you can do. You walk the course 1 or 2 times, hop in your car and go drive. See how quickly you can adapt and learn to it.
Okay.
And I would also add, when you mentioned Susan being on here, so again is one of those things where people start out in autocross and then find out, oh, wait, there's this thing called HPDE. Wait, there's time trials. Wait, there's road racing. Then wait, there's 24 hours of Daytona. How far do you want to go is only limited by your wallet and your time and your patience.
Yeah, and she says, yeah, you can go out to a Grand Sport and get up into third gear in some of the stuff as well, which is even that much faster.
Yep. There's a lot of course designs that are out there. I mean, we've been doing this. I mean, I think the first one that was held in Houston was '69 at Alameda Mall. Was the first one that Houston region had.
Alameda
so it's
Mall.
been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you guys used to do some stuff down at the dog track too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that was our home for many, many years. That was a good site, but over the years it started decaying, and as we know, ownership has changed multiple times, and that site's going under construction now. I think they're getting a strip mall out in front of it, actually.
What a shame. What a great go-kart track that would have been.
Oh, it was amazing. So much asphalt. It was a good time. We enjoyed that. So now we're to Police Academy. We still race what we call the Blunt-based Grand Sport Speedway. They've got a 1.1 mile track. The same thing we do at the Police Academy. We just modify that to make an autocross out of it. So that's our south side, north side, and then we also run some events down in Beeville where the Texas Mile runs. So we've got a larger concrete pad there, which is like our national finals that happens every year in Lincoln.
So when you set up a course, do you try and mimic, not that you can as far as elevation changes, but as far as the nature of the turns, do you try and mimic certain tracks around the world?
No, not normally. Normally you're pretty restricted to what the actual course lends to you on site.
Yeah, the size of it.
And then you've got rule sets that you have to keep in mind on how tight the corners can be, how close your slaloms can be, how wide the gates need to be, and you got to keep people away from each other. So there's a lot of parameters you got to play with to keep everybody safe. But we've managed to keep life and energy in HPA and running there 20 plus years and still having different courses every event.
Do you have to wear a helmet?
You do need to wear a helmet while you drive. We do have loaners available if you don't have your own helmet. And no, motorcycle helmets do not work. Bring a car one. So we'll loan you one if you need it. Not a problem.
Open face okay?
Open face is okay. And actually, starting, I would say, is preferred. You'll learn that through time, the closed face helmet actually allows you to hear and feel more of what's going on in the car than the open face.
Really?
It's the weirdest thing.
Really?
It's because you're encased your head, the sound.
It's just weird how much more you can see, or your senses become so heightened when you actually put a full face helmet on and close it. It's amazing.
Huh. I would have never thought that.
No,
So Don can't bring his bicycle helmet.
Yeah.
He was going to wear his latex suit and bring his bicycle helmet.
I would say too that
I will wear the latex suit. However, anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
On another note. So we have an event coming up in February that is the first time ever that 3 Texas regions have gotten together to put on an event, and that will actually be at NOLA. So it's New Orleans, but this is a national event, what they call a super tour. So you're looking at about 250 road race vehicles there. So where they hold the Indy race down there in NOLA, we're going to be racing down there with all of our regional cars, national cars. But will be a huge event, February 17th and 18th in NOLA. And if you want to see a spectacle of grassroots level racing, that will be it for this year in our area.
And where is it held? I know New Orleans,
NOLA?
but I know that. But
so they've got a track there that is called NOLA Racing Circuit.
Yeah.
It is a flat track, is what we call it. There's not a lot of elevation there, kind of like MSR Houston. But they ran Indy, I guess, 2 years ago, Conrad, do you remember 2.5, 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was about 3, yeah.
Yeah, all new asphalt, really, really nice facility. So they're hosting some very big events last year, and this year we've got ours coming up that should be a huge event, and will be worth traveling to watch. It'll be that good.
So do you bring your LS Miata? You call that a Miata. I would argue there's not much Miata left in it.
In the road racing series, there's not much place for me to play. That one falls into the time trials, and we could go run an autocross if we want, but we focus so much on making it Pikes Peak that it's just not that good at autocross anymore.
Okay.
Not as fun.
Richard, it's always great to talk to you. SCCA, where can we get more information about this event that's coming right up?
SCCA.com is the easiest one, and then HOUSCCA.com is our regional site as well.
Okay. Great to talk to you as always, and good luck with your BMW fixes down there.
Oh, always a challenge.
Hey,
we'll talk to y'all soon.
Helps you make the payment.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you soon. Richard Tomlin, Apex Auto Works. Yeah, exactly. Well, we kind of postponed our original feature that Jeff had made, but we're going to do it now, and it's called Highway Stripes.
Highway Stripes, yeah.
Well, I like that. And this is a different kind of highway stripes that we're not familiar with.
Well, this is international. Because I'm the international correspondent, I picked this up on the internet. Basically, this looks like Tron.
It does look like Tron.
Tron, the show. There you go. So what happened is the Australian government is rolling out a $245 million road safety program, which includes some innovation, new technologies, just to keep drivers safe, and cyclists and pedestrians as well. The most interesting aspect of the program is the implementation of photoluminescent road markings that glow in the dark. Just like the plastic stars, Conrad, that you used to put up on the ceiling of your bedroom as a kid.
I still do.
The lines of the road appear normal in the daytime, but once the night falls, they're as bright as the stars. According to the state of Victoria, which is a state in Australia, the innovation will help give motorists a stronger definition coming into the intersections, curves. It will greatly improve reaction time to the road conditions ahead. A Victorian company called Tarmac Line Marking shared images of the trial run of the glow-in-the-dark road markings, which are impressive, even in complete darkness. The lines on the road are clearly visible thanks to the application of the special finish, Mike. And you're asking yourself, what is that?
What is that, Jeff?
Research has developed a soy-based luminescent sealant for the use on concrete surfaces. The luminescent sealant is a mixture of soy methyl ester polystyrene and strontium aluminate, which is a phosphorescent powder that slowly illuminates after being excited by light. The luminescent sealant is excited when a constant matter of a xenon lighting system that stimulated sunlight in the luminescence of the excited concrete surface.
Oh, my
See,
God.
and all that, and I thought all they did was ground up a bunch of lightning bugs. You know, when you smear one in your hand.
The results of the test indicated that the luminescent surfaces glowed 24 hours in the dark because it was excited. Now, I think this is a great idea. The Tarmac lighting people say the new technology would be outstanding product for pedestrians, bike lanes, roads, boat ramps, which is important.
Airports.
In addition, the photoluminescent road lines, the government will also be implementing LED-lit pavement near intersections and other more reflective road markings. And the reason for this is your headlights only go so far in front of your car. And they're concerned about intersections and dark areas that go on. So this is actually a very, very good idea. And if you can watch this later on, there's things for tracks and walkways and parks and things. The phosphorescent paint is also seen as a way to reduce light pollution. And one of the main causes of that is lights. The road lights.
Do they say anything about using it in fog? It was really foggy this morning. It caught me by surprise.
Well, it's whatever the light.
Whatever light you got.
Right. It'll illuminate or luminescence sometimes in the dark, but not bright, not like you're going to see it.
Yeah, but I can see where even if you had a little light, I'm thinking about going through the fog, that you might you could benefit from that.
Well, this actually was done in 2016 in the Netherlands, and they had problems because they put it on the lanes, on the roads, not very far, probably about half a mile to a mile. People were actually turning off their lights in the car and using it.
Well, that is the Netherlands. You know, their coffee shops are a little weird too.
They were getting in a lot of problems.
Hey, I want to remind everybody that we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic, and you've got just a few minutes here.
Well, you know, I thought I'd talk about some of the weird options you could get and unique options you could get in the cars through history. You know, you got to remember back in the day, you could actually get a radio or a record album player in a car.
Yes.
And it had like a 13 cartridge album holder, and you could put it in, you could be like your own DJ driving down the car. I always wondered how that worked as far as skips and stuff and rough rides in the road. You know, another thing was Cadillac offered a magnetic glove box shot glasses. So the bottom of the shot glass had a magnet on it.
Absolutely.
And they stuck to the glove box when it was open. I thought how unique that was in its day.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them they made, but I imagine not many before
I have one.
The Popo got involved. In 1956 through 1960, Chevrolet offered a vacuum ashtray, which really sucked.
Oh, boy.
But
knew that was going to happen.
It would draw the ashes and the smoke in and store it in a little glass mason jar. I would imagine it held on.
So in other words, it's kind of like a car bong.
A car bong, yeah, that's right.
Car bong.
And then in 1969, General Motors offered what it called liquid tire chains. And, you know, they sold it as an HC Delco product. And it was even available in the Camaro, the liquid tire chains, and Chevrolet advertised liquid tire chains in the Camaro. And it was like a little cartridge just plugged into the trunk.
And it would shoot on the tire.
And it would shoot some kind of goo on the tire to help you with snow traction.
Nothing like shooting goo.
I don't think it was too effective, but they offered it. They say it's quite a unique option if you can find one in a 69 Camaro. And then in the 75 through 86, Jeep sold a Levi's edition with a denim jean interior.
On a Corvette?
Well, no, that one's a little out of, that might be my fault, it's out of place. Chevrolet offered from 77 through 81 on the Corvette C3 a towing package, if you can believe that. What are you going to tow with a Corvette? The little-known ZN1 towing package cost $355. It would fit onto your C3 only if you had the Jim Kahana suspension. You had Jim Kahana on yours, didn't you?
I did.
You didn't have the towing package on
I did not have the towing package.
I could not imagine towing anything with a Corvette. But
well, you could tow your BMW.
You'd have to tow
I wouldn't
your
have
BMW.
a BMW, but thank you for offering.
So, you know, another weird little option that they offered. And then the Holden Commodore offered a fax machine inside their vehicle for $3,300. Don't know why. In 97 through 2001, the Honda CR-V offered a shower that when you opened up the rear gate, it would hang from the rear gate, and you could take a shower to wash your shoes or your kids off. In the 1990s, Chrysler offered the Visor phone. Remember? Oh,
sorry, I skipped through it. Sorry.
The Visor phone was, a lot of manufacturers offered phones. Well, hey, your visor's ringing, answer it. Volkswagen offered a collection of electric guitars that were part of an option package on some of their Volkswagen products, and those have become quite collectible as well. They actually offered a Pink Floyd edition Golf with a guitar that came with it. And then in 2013, the Fiat 500 offered an espresso machine.
That'd be fun.
But
the only problem is you have to stop every few feet to go to the bathroom.
But forget about it.
Forget about it. That's it. All right, thank you, sir. Stellantis is pulling out of next month's Chicago Auto Show as it reevaluates its approach to vehicle expos. The automaker, citing last fall's UAW strike, pulled out of the Specialty Equipment Marketing Association show and the LA Auto Show late last year, in addition to next week's CES event in Las Vegas, to cut costs as part of its strike contingency plan. The only demonstration Stellantis will have at the Houston show is an outdoor ride and drive for some vehicles, according to Rochelle Salinas. Executive Vice President of the Houston Automobile Dealers Association that organizes the event, Salinas said the ride and drive is executed by an experiential company in direct relation with Stellantis, not its dealers. However, we are all disappointed by their decision, Salinas said, about pulling out of the show. However, we are grateful we had their participation for so long and are empathetic to their situation after the strike. We hope they will return in full force in 2024.
No more Camp Jeep, huh?
No more Camp Jeep.
What a bummer.
Yeah, I know. None of that. So it's going to be a big gaping maw on the show floor where that was. I'm sure that they'll
we're
fill it
generally
with something.
Across the aisle from that. Maybe they'll just give us that space.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, can you
so we
imagine?
Can have a live audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I'm sure we'll fill up the arena. Not. All right. Time now for a quick break. And I want to remind everybody that you're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, and want to thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning for our live show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupe Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Like Elvis's Hawaiian concert.
It's his birthday.
It's the worldwide broadcast of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Did you like the way I melded that in there?
Yeah.
Just ahead, we're going to talk amongst ourselves, and we're also going to talk with Mike Quincy, Consumer Reports.
And his blue suede shoes.
I don't know whether Mike's got blue suede shoes, but we're going to find out. And we're going to talk about the reliability study that Consumer Reports has done.
It'd be interesting.
Oh boy, it is going to be interesting. I took a sneak peek.
It's a good. It's a good.
Yeah. So we're going to make some manufacturers probably angry at us. I know
Hold my
that
beer.
hold my beer, watch this. So we thank you for joining us today. Good morning to you, and howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us on a beautiful Saturday morning here in the Houston, Texas area. It's a bit chilly, but the sun is out, and
it's a beautiful day.
It's going to be
nice.
a beautiful
in the
weekend.
neighborhood.
Yep, it truly is.
Don's wearing his sweater.
Mike Quincy is here with us from Consumer Reports. Mike, good morning.
Hey guys, how's it going today?
Well, very well, thank you, and thank you for joining us. I love Consumer Reports' most reliable or unreliable cars of the current model year, and so I'm going to let you kind of control how we go about this. First of all, let's talk about the parameters that you guys use. Do you test every single car, or how do you come up with the reliability survey?
Well, Consumer Reports testing and our reliability information are really kind of separate. We get our reliability data from Consumer Reports members, and every year we put out a survey to our members. We basically ask them, in the last 12 months, tell us about any problems that you had with your car, whether it's something minor like squeaks and rattles or paint and trim, or something major like the powertrain or electronic issues, and they tell us about their experiences owning their cars. We take this data and we give it to our super smart statisticians who come up with our reliability predictions for new model years. And for this year's survey, we have predictions for 2024 models that are based on the reliability of the last 3 years. We have data on more than 330,000 miles. And I love your enthusiasm for our reliability report, because I have to say that not everybody is as excited as you.
No, I can only imagine that most people, I think, would be pretty honest in their opinion as they report to Consumer Reports about their car. Now, let's clarify here that these are new cars.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, we have tons of data on used cars, because we have survey information for models from the 2000 model year up to 2023. So it actually, in some ways, it's even better if you're in the market for a used car, because we go way back. But right now we're just talking about new car predictions in terms of reliability.
Gotcha. And how many people participated in this, your readers?
We have, I think, last count is several million. I actually don't have that number right in front of me right now.
That's okay.
I do know that 330,000 vehicles were included in the survey,
wow,
making it one of the largest of its kind. But I don't know the latest subscriber count for Consumer Reports, but it's definitely in the millions. And like everyone in publishing, it's certainly not as robust as it used to be.
And what kind of questions are asked of these people that participate?
Well, we asked them about problems with their cars. We were talking about problem areas like engine, electric motors, transmissions, every component that can affect the livability of a car. And we look at the data, and we look at sample sizes, and when you have a goodly number of people saying the same thing about the same component about the same car, that gives you an idea that it is statistically relevant. That's easy for me to say. To come up with recommendations, either this car is reliable or we predict it will not be reliable.
But all this data is purely what is input by your members talking about their 3-year-old cars, up to 3-year-old cars.
Correct. Or their 1-year-old car, their 2-year-old car. I mean, there's other surveys out there that talk about initial quality. Problems gone wrong in the first 30 days or
right,
60 days. We usually think surveys like that are pretty ridiculous. It's a brand new car. Nothing should be going wrong in the first 30 days, for goodness sake. So initial quality doesn't mean as much to us at Consumer Reports as how is it holding up over 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and beyond.
But you don't get any participation from the manufacturers in this, as far as any data from them about percentage of component failures of their fleet.
No, the manufacturers do not weigh in Consumer Reports surveys. But when we meet with manufacturers and we talk to them about our survey results, 98% of the time, 99% of the time, maybe, they know exactly what we're talking about. They see their warranty claims. They know every weaknesses of their cars and their components. And so they're generally not really surprised by just about anything that we publish.
Right. Now, all of these cars they're not just gasoline engines. They're also hybrids. And I understand you looked at EVs as well.
Well, as EVs are becoming more popular and dare I say, almost mainstream, we did get a lot of survey information on electric vehicles as well as plug-in hybrids. And one of the more interesting anecdotes of our survey results is that we found that EVs have 79% more problems than models with internal combustion engines.
Wow.
Now, and you think, well, that's crazy because a lot of people are buying EVs these days. But then we looked a little deeper on the other electrification of models, and that's plug-in hybrids. They have 146% more problems. But I mean, in some ways, the logical way of thinking about it is most manufacturers are new to the EV world. They're new to the plug-in electric world, and so they haven't worked out all the bugs yet. The one kind of positive spot among EVs is Tesla, but they've been at it longer, so it's kind of goes lockstep here.
So how do you filter out and having been a field engineer for General Motors, I know what you're talking about they know what's going on. How do you filter out the emotion of your members? And I say the emotion of your member, I brought my car in to get it worked on and the dealer screwed it up and they worked on it 3 or 4 times and I just wanted to hammer him. So I hammered him in a survey, and that's, that's what I'm talking about the emotion of them. They found an opportunity to get somebody back by filling out a survey on them. How do you filter out that emotional response?
Well, that's how it has to be statistically relevant, statistically provable. If we have, let's say 100 people own a Honda Accord and 99 of them are saying, it's been drop dead reliable. It's not a problem. We have one person that says, "Oh, it was terrible. It broke in the first week." You learn to filter out the anomalies, but when you see a pattern, then that is, it's as Consumer Reports lawyers say, it is defensible.
Okay. Now, as far as brands are concerned, that's fairly straightforward. Do you get down to the actual cars that the brands make?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we look at reliability from a brand level as well as a model level, and sometimes even within the models there are trim lines that have certain options that will prove to be more problematic than others. Okay. So that again helps us to further slice and dice the information to help people make a good buying decision. But yeah, the brand information is there's not a lot of surprises this year in terms of who is dominating for the most reliable models, and they're all they're mostly coming from Asia. We're talking about Lexus, Toyota, Honda, Subaru, Mazda, and Kia having the more reliable models. But one thing that's interesting is the Germans made a pretty good show this year with Mini Cooper, Porsche, and BMW also making the top 10.
And how many years has Consumer Reports been doing this specific report?
We have been doing automotive surveys, I believe, for about 60 plus years. But Consumer Reports as an organization has been in business since 1936. And
how do you... Having done this for so long, do you see kind of repeat offenses, that one brand has substantially more transmission issues than another one has more suspension issues, and how do the manufacturers explain that over time?
Well, that's a great question. We definitely saw some patterns of failure for components. For example, there is some Nissan CVTs that are problematic. Which, yeah, I know a lot of people have heard about that. There was a time when Subaru head gasket issues were also a consistent problem, but it isn't so much that a manufacturer is stuck with a bad legacy. For example, you look at Kia being in the top 10 for most reliable brands. There certainly was a time when Kia wasn't even close to the top 10, maybe not even midway through the whole brands. And they have worked hard to improve their reliability. And when you look at BMW, I think they've also looked at how they're doing things and improved a lot also. So, but yeah, there's some manufacturers like a Chrysler, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen. Every year they seem to be terrible, and you almost wonder what is going on within the confines of those offices. Why can they seem not to figure out the keys to good reliability?
Right.
What is there anything in the survey? You surveyed, it shows up here as 30 brands in all, Chrysler being at the very bottom of the list and Lexus being at the very top of the list. Is there anything in between there that kind of surprised you, kind of took you back and going, wait, what's going on here?
Well, I think when you're, when you're sort of rooting for the home team, maybe you want Detroit to do better. I think Ford is kind of an interesting cross section because there are some models of the Ford lineup like the Maverick and the Edge that have proven to be pretty reliable. But on the other hand, they've also had some real stinkers in the last survey. The Ford F-150 Lightning all-electric pickup has been abysmal. The Ford F-150 hybrid pickup truck, which is a great truck, I love this truck so much, is also turned out to be super unreliable. So you sometimes you can look at reliability from a brand level and you say, well, I don't know which Subaru I want, but I know most of them are pretty reliable. Or you get down to the model level, and I guess in today's consumer, it isn't so much just to be loyal to one brand. You say, well, my father bought Chevrolets, my uncle bought Chevrolet, so I'm going to buy a Chevrolet. I don't think it's that easy, and I don't think that's a good use of people's money.
And then again, how do you manage the recalls that are issued when you look at, some of these manufacturers have recalled every car they've sold for 6 or 7 years, and how does that impact on the reliability scores that you guys are ranking?
Recalls are actually not a part of Consumer Reports reliability because most recalls are a one-time event. In other words, the manufacturer is saying, we've got a problem, you bring it to us, we're going to fix it. It's not going to cost you any money, and usually it's done. So that in and of itself is not a factor to make something unreliable. I mean, you think about how many millions of cars were affected by the Takata airbag recall. This is like a global thing. It doesn't mean that every car that has one of those defective airbags is a completely unreliable car, but you fix the airbag and you really don't have any issues.
Okay.
Is there anything on the bottom half of the list that is consistently at the bottom half of the list year after year?
Pretty much Jeep.
Jeep,
which is too bad. I mean, listen, Stellantis redesigned the Grand Cherokee. It actually did really well in our testing, and so it's too bad that it's turning out to be really unreliable. The Grand Cherokee, the Grand Cherokee L, the Wrangler are all coming pretty low in Consumer Reports reliability surveys. And what's interesting is that some of these Jeep models, fly in contrast to Consumer Reports owner satisfaction surveys. I mean, people that buy a Jeep Wrangler love them, but they're also being honest with how unreliable they are. So, I tip my hat to the Consumer Reports members that are telling us all about their model. Yes, I really like it, but no, it really is a pain in the neck.
So, but could their use, that's an off-road vehicle, could them taking it off-road impact that? I mean, is there any accountability or allowance for that?
That's a good question, Mike. I don't think it is like I abused the vehicle off-road and it broke, so it's unreliable. I don't think really that's a factor. I mean, when you look at some of the Wrangler's problems, it might be electronic issues that really have nothing to do with off-road hardware per se.
Okay.
But I think it's a fair question. In other words, how is this car driven? And for example, when you think about how the owners of most minivans, they're probably suburban parents that aren't, abusing their car. And so there's some minivans that are really super reliable because they're not abused. The same thing you could be saying about sports cars. Maybe people drove the wheels off it and they say, well, it's not reliable because it broke because I broke it. So, whether it is the owner's fault or inherent in the way that the vehicle was designed or manufactured, that's usually what our statisticians can sniff out.
And within your survey, componentry, have you noticed that there's a higher or a lower level of automated safety devices that are ticking that survey as far as problems with all the cameras and high-tech computers and stuff that are on the vehicles?
We're not seeing a wide amounts of those kinds of failures unless they fall under general electronics. Electronic failures are among the most cited trouble spot in Consumer Reports surveys of examples of people where they're having problems. But I would have to dig into that a little deeper to get a proper answer for your question, because it might fall under electronics, but I'm not aware that these safety features are failing. I am aware, though, that they cost a fair amount to replace.
Yeah.
So, all the sensors, all the cameras, all the stuff that you're talking about, when you get into like a simple like fender bender in a parking lot, it can cost a whole lot of money to fix all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, just for all the recalibration of everything.
Stuff you can't even see.
Mike, let me ask you about Lexus. They are consistently at the top of the list. Not the top all the time, but right up there in the top 5 or so. What is it about Lexus? What are they doing so right that the others are always chasing?
I think there's so much legacy with Toyota. Obviously, starting the luxury brand Lexus in the late 80s, early 90s. And Toyota is consistently also a super reliable manufacturer. I think what Toyota and Lexus do is they get a technology and they stick with it. They have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine that they put in a lot of models. They have a hybrid system that they have been working on and perfecting for like 25 years. Yeah. So they're not bringing in the latest tech. They've been reluctant and rather slow, actually, to get into the whole EV area. Because first of all, I don't think they see it as being very profitable, but also it's not in their expertise. So they're very slow to kind of embrace new technology, and most likely they're going to test it out in their home market before they bring it to the United States. The Prius was a thing in Japan before it came to the U.S., and over time that model has become just an incredible legacy of amazing reliability for what is a very complicated car. But Toyota gets their technology down, and they generally stick with it.
Mike, where can our followers get more information on this study? Is it consumerreports.org?
Consumerreports.org, and if you're old school, we still sell magazines. We have Consumer Reports new and used car buying guides. You can check them out at your supermarket. If you can find a newsstand, it's also there. We do paper, but yeah, certainly the trend is all digital all the time.
Well, we certainly appreciate you guys, and we love talking to you. And great survey, and this comes out once a year, does it not?
That is correct, and we have this new survey information right around December, and then we're also working on our April issue, which is the big car issue of Consumer Reports, which should debut sometime in February. So that'll be another a reason to come on in real time and talk it up.
Absolutely, and we're going to invite you. Just let us know when that comes out and you're ready to talk. We'll get you on.
Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Mike Quincy, Consumer Reports in the Automotive Reliability Study.
And they do such a great job because they're not influenced by advertising. Mm-hmm. It's just pure data that they supply information on. I really appreciate it.
I respect it too. All right, time now for the events calendar here on In Wheel Time, and Conrad has events coming up.
Well, Houston Cars and Cocktails at Sawyer Park Ice House in the Woodlands.
Wait a minute, now that's a cruise in.
is January 14th. The Winter Conroe Swap Meet and Car Corral, February 16th through 18th at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in the off of Airport Road. Stephanie Nichols' 13th Annual Car and Plane Show at the Georgetown Airport. Is
Car
February.
and Plane Show. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. February 24th at the Georgetown Airport. The 11th Annual Rouse Rock and Rides at Gupton Stadium is March 2nd.
Gupton Stadium.
The CCA Honda
Guptums.
Acura at the Conclave in the Killeen Special Events Center is April 13th. January 14th is Savage Sunday Exotic Car Show in the Heights. So, you want to go see some.
You edited that on the fly, didn't you?
Which?
Your events calendar.
Nope, not at all.
You didn't? Oh, because we started off as a cruise in, and I'm just calling you out. I'm just not jacking with you, really.
You want cruise-ins is tomorrow.
Well, I know, but we're not there yet. Okay. That's another feature that we have later on in the show.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for participating.
Back to you, John.
All right, Mr. Mars got a chance to review the new Ford Bronco. We're waiting to hear what you got to say, Mike.
I have to say, right up front, I got the most comments on this vehicle than any vehicle I've ever driven, including the Hellcats and stuff. I mean, people recognize this vehicle. It is so well done with this Heritage model. Now, this is the 2023 Ford Bronco. It is the Heritage Edition. Now, this is the two-door model. It is a truck-based SUV. You can get 7 different models of the Bronco. This is the 6th generation of it. It's part of it. But this version, they've got 2 different levels of the Heritage, and it is a 4-passenger vehicle. It is 2-door, just like you remember them. And they've just done it extremely well to make it look the same, but it is obviously much bigger. The one I had came with race red, so it had the white removable top, had the white grille, the white 17-inch wheels on it, and it's just really well done. Had LED headlamps up front that are automatic high beams. The wheels are a 17-inch Oxford white aluminum wheel that's made to look like the old steel wheels. Just really nice looking. Now, when you get to the inside of this vehicle, again, this is a 4-passenger model. They don't even try and make it a 5. We had the plaid cloth seats. They're very supportive. The front buckets are heated. The split rear seats that fold are also folded in the plaid cloth. We had the 8-inch center stack in the front, and it was, it's always nice to have a little bit bigger, but this one was very good. And the dash on it, we had the white dash all the way across. It almost looks like it's plastic. It's not, but that's part of that Heritage look that goes with it. Now, we also had the 8-inch digital screen for the driver to have all the controls and all the information that the driver needs there. And locking glove box on it. We had the grab handles. One thing I wanted to note, the grab handle coming in off the passenger side, because it is set up, it is a lifted type vehicle. It's up on the console close to the center stack. It's a reach. It's not up on the pillar where you would think it would be like in a lot of Ford vehicles. So my wife found it a little inconvenient. It worked, but it would have been so much easier and better if it had been up there on the pillar. Now, up under the hood, we had the 2.3-liter EcoBoost, 300 horsepower, 325 pound-feet of torque. Now, there is a V6 option that will get you 330 horsepower. Main thing about the V6 is the 415 pound-feet of torque. Now, I drove this. We were backed by a 7-speed manual transmission. I think it's got more than enough power to go any place you want. A manual
transmission.
When I first got in it, it was dark and I wasn't looking, and I went down there and pushed on the brake and I hit the start button and it wouldn't start, and then I realized it was a manual. So I had to have the clutch, everything in. So it was very unusual to get into one that's new from the factory. So the EPA says you should be looking for 16 in the city, 18 on the highway, with combined about 17. I happened to get across 301.5 miles, 19.2 miles to the gallon in this thing. Bad. Mm-hmm. And I was very impressed with that. And like I say, it has more than enough power. I don't really know why you would want that.
Did you rev it up
V6
to like 7,000 RPM before you shifted it?
Nah. No point. I mean, that's not what that vehicle's made for. But I wish there was some place around where we could do a little rock crawling or something. The only thing we got is a little mud and a little sand. And again, I don't know why you would want a V6 in this vehicle. I think the inline four has got plenty of power. Now, driving this vehicle out on the road, it's got a little bit of noise. It's got a removable hard top on it. The doors are where you can take them all off, so there's a little more road noise, but it's a little bit heavier, and it's bigger, I think, than a lot of its competitors. So it rides surprisingly well with those 17-inch, those big, tall tires on it. That part of that's because it's got an independent front suspension, which helps with the steering and everything. Now, the pricing on it. Now, this is based, the Heritage model that we had is based on a mid-trim level. There is another one that's based on the upper top-of-the-line model. It'll cost you another $20,000-$25,000. But the base model for a Bronco, according to the press kit, because the Monroney doesn't have any pricing on this vehicle, pre-production type vehicle, but from the press kit, $34,245 is where you can start on a Bronco. Now, the one we're driving, the Heritage model, starts at $44,305, which really surprised me for what I was driving. The best I can tell, the Heritage model is going to start at about $49,000, trying to figure out what all was on it and what wasn't on it, and put it in there. So sub 50 is what I would think. If you want the top of the line model, it's $66,500, but that's based up there with the Raptor. The only real competitor I thought was applicable was the Jeep Wrangler, and I found a Sahara for $45,925, so about in that same range of $49,000-$50,000. And I think if you're looking, you really need to go look at this, particularly. Like I say, if you like the old school Bronco,
I liked it a lot.
Definitely something.
Well, I will tell you
at.
that Ford loaned me one of those. It was a yellow with the white wheels and white top. I loved it, and I was very thankful that I got a chance to drive it from Chicago up to Wisconsin and back, and it was great. And I've already reviewed that, and I said the same thing. It was great. Now, mine didn't have the manual transmission; it was automatic. But whatever.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go for the manual just because if I was rock crawling or something in the sand, the manual's a little bit tougher than the automatic. But again, and surprisingly, most of the comments I got were from women. I could hear windows down. I'd be going by left the grocery store.
That, Mike.
Oh, look at that Bronco.
Mike.
Where they.
Oh, hi, Mike.
No,
No,
they were
it wasn't
saying,
like that.
isn't that Bronco Billy?
Hey, this program is available 24/7 on iHeartRadio. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana? Stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere.
streamed and downloaded in your car, bedrooms, and bathrooms around the globe. It's the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to talk to DPS State Trooper Mr. Sergeant Stephen Woodard about new laws now in effect and other things. Plus, we'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Now, let's go to DPS headquarters and let's talk to Sergeant Stephen Woodard. Hi-ho, Steve Areno.
Jeff, how do you deal with those three, man? What's the secret?
I drink a lot.
He drinks a lot. Yeah, well, there's that. Where are you? Are you at work?
Well, I'm at a exclusive location. Let's just say I'm available.
You're not down in Laredo, are you?
No, I'm not down in Laredo. No, there's nothing. I didn't lose nothing down there. Yeah.
Very good.
Hey, I have to tell you something, fellas. Brother Don did a real good job out there in the rural area of Texas when we were trying to capture that guy that conducted an egregious, just a horrible. And Don knows what I'm talking about. We appreciate the coverage, Don. Man, that was a horrible scene on the ground level, but I was listening to you from the bottom and through the news feeds. You did a wonderful job out there when we had that standoff. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. I try
appreciate you doing what you do for us.
I try to be very cognizant of what you guys are up to and the stuff that you are up against, and I don't need to add to the pressure of trying to capture people and that sort of thing. And so, the television station relies on me to kind of use my best judgment. And, it's very easy, especially when you get into some sort of a standoff, to give away locations when you're up there at 1,500 feet. And I'm very well aware of that, and so I'm very cognizant of that, and love you guys, and want to do it the safe way to get the coverage, but also keep you guys protected as much as I can.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I'm gonna get to it, but I wanted to take this opportunity. So, fellas, not getting too much into it, because I called and asked if I could talk about it, and they said not much. But I will say this: so. The professionalism in Don, he understands how we roll, and he could have gave some information, but he didn't put out, exact, integral information, because he knew it was a tactical situation. And believe it or not, guys, that guy was watching the news as well. So a lot of times during those standoffs, they just hang out and they listen to the news to see if they can get some information on how they could, basically combat or get away. And man, you were spot on it. So let me get it. I love you, man. I'm gonna get away from the mushy stuff.
Okay,
let me just clarify. If somebody doesn't know, Don is Channel 13, the local Houston ABC affiliate, their eye in the sky. He is the helicopter reporter. So just in case you weren't aware, that's really what he's talking about, is some of his duties. And a lot of people, I for one, get to where I want to talk to fill dead air. And Don's smart enough and professional enough, he knows better than to do that with things like you're talking about.
And we're so glad that Don is professional on Channel 13, because here he's out of control.
That's right, yeah. Well,
I got nothing to say.
On 13, Don's in the air. Here he's full of air.
And all of it's hot.
Hey, so fellas, I'm going to tell you something. Last year was pretty interesting when it came to crashes. We almost came close to the same exact number of fatalities, 4,000 plus, in the state. Wow. I have a number, but I want to hold off on giving that number because there's still some crashes pending. As a matter of fact, there was a unfortunate crash in Beaumont, in the Beaumont area, if you will, and the very next day, which was the next year, the individual ended up passing, so that changed numbers. But I will tell you, and I've said this for years on this program, driving is the most dangerous thing any one of us can do, and we just have to be careful. Let me bring something up to you. People always ask, if I'm involved in a vehicle crash, because in law enforcement, Don, we don't say accident, we say crash. And if I'm involved in a vehicle crash or a collision, what in the hell, what do I do? Well, first off, it's your responsibility, after making sure you're good, and if you can move, it's your responsibility to make sure that the other party that's involved is okay. Number 2, take pictures, take pictures, take pictures. You would not believe how many times people call my office every Monday or Tuesday asking for information on their crash. If you go to the DPS website and you click in Ask a Trooper a Question, I'm one of those troopers for 8 counties. And people call all the time, every Monday and Tuesday, asking for information on their crash because they didn't get the ample amount of pictures or the information. Take pictures. We're going to take our pictures, but you need to take yours. Take pictures, take pictures. All law enforcement entities all over the state of Texas, all law enforcement entities understand that the individuals involved need to take pictures. So long gone the day of, hey, you need to stand over here and we need to conduct the investigation. No, they're going to allow you to take the pictures. Exchange information. That's so important. Make sure before you leave that unfortunate crash scene that you get the other party's information and that they get yours. Is it legal for you to move off the roadway when a crash happens? Yes, you can. So you get into an unfortunate crash on 610 or I-10 or whatever, and the vehicles are drivable, both parties are okay physically, we advise you to move that vehicle off of the road. Because I promise you, Brother Mars, I promise you, there's another crash about to happen involved with yours. So we advising folks to move off the road. That's going to be my theme for a couple of months. If you're involved in a crash, move off of the road. Technology, video, and all that other stuff is so prevalent here within the state and within the city. We don't need vehicles to stay on the scene until law enforcement gets there because it may take them a while. Fellas, I will tell you, one of the biggest problems that we have in our community is folks driving on the shoulder. You know, you can drive on the shoulder. There's 7 times that you're allowed to drive on the shoulder. Number 1, of course, is if you're going to stop the vehicle and check for any malfunctions. Second one, of course, is if you're going to actually accelerate to make a right turn. And that's where the confusion comes in. People use that shoulder as their own lane, as their own travel lane, and they use the shoulder to avoid 20 cars to get to that light to make the right turn. Well, the state law tells us that you can use that lane to basically, de-accelerate to make the right turn. So as you're approaching that light, you say, okay, well, there it is. It's 3 cars ahead of me. Let me continue on and slow down to make the right turn. You got to be smart about that. I promise you, if a state trooper sees you driving on the lane, using that shoulder for your own lane, you're going to get stopped. That's just how it is. Of course, we use the shoulder to avoid a collision. If we're directed by the police, we can use the shoulder. We can use the shoulder, of course, to drive over if a vehicle is traveling more faster than us in the rear. You got some guy being silly and he's driving aggressively and he's coming up on your rear. Guess what? You can drive on the shoulder to let that, get out of your way. But again, the shoulder is not our own lane. It's a lane, of course, for disabled vehicles, individuals that are stopped, that are adjusting the car seat for the baby, or whatever the case. We cannot use the shoulder as our own lane. What you're going to find out, Don, and they'll probably broadcast this a couple of times this year on air, the racing. I will tell you, the racing in Houston has decreased because of the new law change, and the individuals are aware of that. But you're probably going to see more task force throughout the year because individuals that are racing, not only do they cause danger to themselves, but those that are around them.
Let me just interrupt you and just say, where we're broadcasting from is not too far from Highway 90A. out here in Sugar Land. And it's a very nice area, a great big 3-4 lane road on Highway 90A going in both directions. And I will tell you that I can be in my bedroom at night and I can hear them racing on Highway 90A. And it just drives me absolutely insane. Open mufflers, I mean, motorcycles. There was a bunch of motorcycles here just a couple of weeks ago that came down Highway 90A, and I guess they got the green light from a stop and they let it rip all the way to the next light. And I'm wondering, would that be something that the Sugar Land police would take care of, or would DPS take that?
We'll take care of it. What I'll do is because Fort Bend is one of my counties, and we work with Sugar Land Police Department a lot. So what I'll do is, hey, Brother Morris, sound like we got a snitch in the house. What I'll do is, I'll advise my guys Monday morning. Once we get through the weekend, I'll advise them Monday morning, and I'll reach out to Sugar Land because, hey, we got to combat that stuff. Here's the deal, guys. If we don't slow those folks down, we're going to end up working a fatality. So that's just the bottom line.
So is it drag racing, or is it like top-end type racing?
It's drag racing.
It could be drag, or it could be a acceleration test. Just an individual just having a blast. Which, hey, I look, guys, I get it. You know what I mean? But there's a place, and if you schedule it, a time to do that. And there's several areas where they'll allow you, with an anonymous fee, to go on their track and take care of business.
Well, I will tell you that being a drag racing guy, we don't like to call that drag racing. We call it street racing is what it is. And however you want to look at it, it doesn't make any difference. And, hey, look, there was a time in my life when I was a teenager and really got into cars and that sort of stuff. We would go out on a road way out. There was nobody on it. Nobody. There were no streets coming into the road. It was at least a mile long. Now, we didn't race for a mile long.
In his Model T.
Yeah, in my Model T. But there was nobody there.
Right.
And if you got to do something like that, pick your place, but don't do it on Highway 98.
We're like you, where we live. We're close enough to the highway. There's an overpass. And late at night, particularly on the weekend, and it's mainly motorcycles. You can tell by the way they sound. They come down. They come over that overpass. And they got a nice long stretch. Speed limit's 75 anyway, and you can hear them wind up. And I mean, you can hear them all over town.
Yeah.
And they're already doing 60, 70, and then I don't know how fast.
I'm thinking it was probably somebody that got a car from the media pool, and they're doing a car review.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I think.
I got a question for Conrad.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this, and we all talked about Teslas and these automated vehicles. I'm going to tell you something, boys. The new law book came out, and I'm actually teaching at the Houston Police. I teach the transportation code for the Houston Police Department for their academy. So if you want to know, all Houston police officers for the past 13 years had to go through me to learn about Texas laws when it comes to stopping vehicles. And I'm telling you, that automated vehicle section is thick. Let me ask you something real quick. Why does every time we get a crash dealing with a Tesla, my phone rings off the hook from the media? What is that? Do you think?
Because Tesla,
I don't know.
Teslas, they've bragged about their self-driving system, and I think everybody's wondering, was the self-driving system engaged, and was that, I'm not going to say the cause of the crash, but was it an attributing factor to the crash? Because self-driving is a stupid name for a feature on a vehicle, because the car doesn't self-drive. You still have to be paying attention to it. But, the thought was the driver absolutely paying no attention, and the self-driving system got lost, and that's what caused the crash. And, that features on more than just Teslas. That features on a number of other cars. I think Ford calls it Blue Cruise.
Yeah.
General Motors calls it Super Cruise. They all have these automated driving features, which I think is a horrible thing to advertise. You look at the GMC truck one, and here they are clapping while the car's driving.
Yeah,
and the guy's got a trailer behind him, and he's using Super Cruise. Dumb advertising, but not the first time GM's done some dumb advertising.
And what people don't realize when you see that they're on a straight road on a bridge that's got plenty of marking on it for the systems to pick up on and never fail. They never show that when you're going around a curve or intersections because the system doesn't work.
But I think that's why the media calls you, is because they're trying to find out whether or not the automatic driving system was an attributing factor to it. The funny thing is Tesla knows. Tesla can tell you, they can download data out of the car. General Motors can download data out of the car because of OnStar, and they know whether or not the automatic driving system was engaged when that vehicle was involved in the impact.
Well, I tell you, I am a fan of technology, but we'll see where the future takes us. What I do know is, and I'll just put this out here. What I do know, last year on paper, as of now, we had 4,176, 4,176 folks die in vehicle crashes. And I'm going to tell you that's an astronomical number when you think about it. Driving is the most dangerous thing each and every last one of us will do every single day. It's very important. Number one, we need to be mindful, look to the left, look to the right, look around us. We get that. But one thing that a lot of us forget, we have to do those self-inspections on our vehicles, making sure that our tires are, of course. I stopped a guy coming from Austin the other day, and it was a truck, tractor, and trailer. I mean, the tires looked like the top of my head. I stopped a guy the other day. He had a load on the back of his vehicle that was the load was so heavy to where the tires were rubbing on the inner portion of the fender wells. I mean, we got to make sure that the vehicles that we're driving are safe to travel down the road.
Well,
Let's take this month.
I've got something to say about that. Now, during COVID and all the transportation issues that were going on, they were looking for truck drivers and support for transportation, for long hauls. They were looking to hire people because they didn't have enough. Who did they hire? Are they independents? Are they going through the proper training? Are these people that shouldn't be on the road to begin with that are using these vehicles? I'm feeling the pain there because I see it too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something, and I've said this live on air before. Where would we be without our truck drivers? But they have to be in compliance. I had a guy call me, oh man, this week has flown by. I had a guy call me Thursday, and he had an international CDL, an international commercial driver's license, and he wanted to go ahead and get that switched over to a Texas CDL. Can't do it, man. You got to go through our system. What I will say is, boys, we are very hard on our truck drivers, but we need them to be in compliance, because what I will tell you, and I just did a live shot for Channel 13 the other day, right there on I-10, had an HEB truck lose control, and next thing you know, the roadway is shut down for 6 hours. So it's a little different from a fender bender between two vehicles or three vehicles versus a truck, tractor, and trailer. It turns into a actual traffic logistical mess.
Yes.
So
a 4,000-pound car doesn't have the impact strength of an 80,000-pound fully loaded rig.
Yes, sir. Well, 3 ways we can reduce fatalities, fellas. Number one, of course, the enforcement. The boys and girls of law enforcement, we have to be out there stopping the cars, being visible, and meeting the people. Number two, we got to make sure we educate the people. And I thank In Will Time for allowing me through the years to come and help and educate our folks, of course, with the help of you guys. And three, and something neither one of us have control over, and that's roadway engineering. TxDOT, they have to continue doing the great job that they do, putting up the barriers, trying to fill the potholes. I will tell you this, fellas, if it wasn't for that concrete barrier the other day, that 18-wheeler would have went right across I-10, and that would have been a different crash.
And I'll tell you what, Steve, I sure do see a lot more head-on crashes these days. I don't know what's up with that. Head-on crashes. It's terrible.
Yeah, we had one this morning, unfortunately, literally one this morning. So you got to pay attention, Brother Don, and that's just in our everyday lives. This is a good life that we live, and 2024 is going to be a good year. Fellas, I think it's going to be our year. I think we're going to get Don. See, Don, I put him in the category of great journalists like Larry King. Walter Crump.
I was thinking more like Don King.
There we go with the hot air crap again.
That's it. Steve, we love talking to you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you a great day, and give your family our love, and I hope the boys are doing well.
I will. And while we're all here, can we put in a vote? Can we get Brother Mars a raise?
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to raise me off this chair in a minute. That's what they're going to do.
You said that like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, thanks again, man. We always enjoy talking to you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Sergeant Stephen Woodard, DPS State Trooper. And,
always fun.
One of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I got some recalls to tell you about. Not just some. A lot.
Uh-oh.
Ford Motor Company recalling 112,965 F-150 trucks because of a potential issue with the rear axle hub bolt that could increase the risk of rolling away or crashing.
So how many times through the years have we done a recall on a Ford that wouldn't stay in park?
Rolling away
and crashing.
Yep.
Dozens of them.
Yep. In July,
It's
Ford
the same
recalled
guy that rolled
870,000 F-150s because of an unexpected parking brake activation.
Well, there you go.
Here's more. A driver's airbag may become deactivated in all of the Ford F-Series for 23 model year.
Oops.
All of them.
You won't find that out until you need it.
Yep. BMW 430i cylinder head cover may crack and leak oil.
Yep.
You're aware of this. This is the
valve cover gasket.
brand new
Valve
2024.
cover.
On which vehicle? Oh,
It says
BMW.
cylinder head cover,
BMW.
but same thing. Airbag may not deploy properly in the Toyota Corolla Cross. However many, they don't sell many of those, 2022 to 23. Lexus, what is an OCS sensor? OCS. Obsessive compulsive
Sensor.
Occupant sensor, maybe it's part of the airbag system.
I don't know.
For the passenger side.
But lots of Lexuses and lots of Toyotas. I'm not going to go through it from 2020 to 2022 models. And I'll give you, look for the VIN on your car. It's probably in your wallet with your insurance card. And you plug that into safercar.gov. There's a blank there.
Yep.
And it'll tell you whether your car is being recalled or not.
Occupant classification system. So it tells you whether or not there's a passenger in the passenger seat.
High voltage battery modules may overheat on the Audi e-tron for 2019 through 2022.
Only once.
Only once. Door strikers may fracture on the Chevy Blazer, Equinox, and Terrain for 2024. That's another recall. Here's another one. Roof rail airbag inflators may rupture on the Buick and the Chevrolet, the Verano and the Cruze for 2014. 10-year-old car. Land Rover, Range Rover Sport for 2023. The exterior vehicle lighting may fail. Also, improperly bonded body panels on the Land Rover, Range Rover. I think that's the same company that makes Jaguars. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
I didn't say it this time.
Cross-member connection may loosen.
Though it was in my head.
Cross-member connection may loosen. Mercedes-Benz Sprinters, 1,500, 2,500, 3,500, 4,500 for the 2020 model year.
That's not good.
Missing frame member reinforcement fasteners. Again, the Sprinters, 19 through 22 model years. Partition wall may detach. Sprinters for the 2019 through 2023 model. Engine compartment fire. Thermal event. Kia Sorento for 2011. They're going way back in time.
Got nothing else to recall.
But remember, they scored well in Consumer Reports.
Yeah. Improper seal may allow oil and fuel to leak in the Mercedes-Benz GLC 300, 350, and 450, 23 and 24 model years. Sorry, I'm having a little...
Spit it up.
Everybody can hear that.
It's got a hairball.
I know.
As much as you thought you muted it.
Well, I did my microphone. Lucky everybody else. I think every Mercedes model year and brand model...
Since day one.
Since day one. 2021 through 2023, fuel pump shutdown may cause loss of drive power. You think?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll do it every time. So there's just too many of them to list there. Nissan Altima. Loose bolts may cause a loss of steering control for the 2024 Altima. Engine compartment fire from a short circuit. Hyundai Kona 2024.
Ooh.
Kona. There you
There
go,
you
Mars.
go.
There's your Kona review.
Kona review.
There you go.
Bring the hot dogs and s'mores.
That was a hot item there.
Lots of recalls, man. I mean,
It's the end of the year. You got to start to get them all out of the way at the beginning of the year.
I guess. I'm not even going to do that. And so the airbag thing is all over again. ARC Automotive, and the airbag thing is going to be huge. They're looking at being 67 million vehicles.
Well,
The airbags are like COVID. It's here to stay.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's true. But I will say this, that airbags save lives.
absolutely,
That's
they
true.
do. Absolutely. They
So, there's a risk in everything.
do. Well, I've always said seatbelts save lives, airbags reduce injuries.
We're getting close to the end of this hour, but I did want to mention that the Ford Super Duty was named 2024 North American Truck of the Year.
I heard that.
While the Kia EV9 was named Utility Vehicle of the Year, and the Toyota Prius and Prius Prime hatchback took home Car of the Year honors in the North American Car, Truck, and Utility Vehicle
That one-
Awards.
So Jack wouldn't tell us all of that.
Well,
he had to wait
he
till it
already
was
knew.
released.
Jack
He
is
knew.
flying today, but he's going to join us next week, and we're going to talk
But
about it.
I don't get the Prius. I don't. I think there's better models out there, but
Well, you have
It
to
is what
take
it
the
is.
Prius for what it's worth.
For what it is.
For what
not
it is.
what it's worth.
Well, no, I mean it's
It does everything it says it's going to do, and it does a very good job of it. It has Toyota reliability.
Is it
Like
something
the
that
guy-
I would buy? No.
no.
But it's like the guy from Consumer Reports says, Toyota has been doing that same drivetrain
Their same shtick.
synergy
Yeah.
for 20 years, and they do a damn good job of it.
I agree.
They
and actually,
practiced a lot.
And we've driven those cars, and they're comfortable and they're easy to use. I mean, if you're not into cars and you just have to commute from here to there,
If you're just after transportation, there's a lot of choices out there like that.
that's a good one. All right.
But
Well,
I have fun.
Yeah. So that's it for this portion of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We've got more coming up. Stay with us here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
Podcasting and streaming from Studio A inside the Sugar Shack Studios. It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we hope to get a hold of Pennzoil's Michael Thomas and how EVs are changing automotive product development. A lot is my guess. You'll hear my thoughts on a week with the new Subaru Impreza RS. And Conrad has the cruise-in calendar just ahead on this episode of the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Howdy along with Mike out of this world Mars, fiddling with his phone like a little teenage girl. King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. It's a beautiful Saturday here in Houston, Texas. If you're wondering, well, I'm listening to a podcast. This is not Saturday. Well, so we take every 30 minutes a podcast out of the show.
And make
out of
six.
The three, make 6 of them. And so they air Sunday through Friday. So you get a fresh podcast every day of the week in case you miss one.
From the new upgraded studio.
Ta-da.
Yes, and we hope that you like our new look. Well, it's kind of new for us anyway. Logo's down here instead of back there. We got some artwork up here. We're trying to be fancy. I hope you appreciate it.
Got some backlighting.
I don't know if anybody's known, but I've been changing the color.
Have you been doing that, or has he been doing it by
No,
itself?
I've been doing it.
Okay, well, thank you.
I think Jeff just aglow there behind him.
Yeah.
It's purple now.
It is.
No, it's actually blue. It's supposed to be blue.
Okay.
Is it?
No, well, it's the button I pushed was blue.
Oh, actually. Okay, well, thank you very much. I've been dying to do this story while we're waiting for the guy from Pennzoil.
Here we go.
9 old tools almost nobody uses anymore, and I think I would fall into that category myself.
Yeah, you are a tool.
I am a tool. Here's one.
Peter.
There's O'Toole.
That's O'Toole. Spark plug gap tool. When's the last time you used one of those?
Last time I changed spark plugs?
Yeah, I was going to say, I use it all the time.
Do you really?
Yep.
Use it for the mower, too, when you change the plug.
Well, those spark plug gap tools can still be found in the impulse buy section of your favorite parts store. These have all but been eliminated from regular use by the growing popularity of iridium and platinum plugs. These rare earth metals are extremely resistant to degradation, but when it comes time to set the proper gap between the ground strap and electrode, they are very delicate. That's why the factory sets the gap when the plug is produced.
Yeah, most plugs that you buy are gapped in the box.
Yeah.
But I always check them. Mm-hmm. You
Do you ever have to adjust them? I never do.
Yeah, if somebody gets a little rough with a box and drops one.
I guess, but it's rare.
Nothing worse than getting rough with the box.
I'm not even going to go there on that one. Here's one. And actually, if we looked in that toolbox, you will find a
torque wrench
dwell meter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Probably in the bottom drawer.
I don't know. It's in there somewhere. But 50 years ago, tune-up of an engine centered on the ignition system. Right. Breaker points are critical to a properly functioning ignition system, and timing how long those points are closed, the dwell, determines how much charge is built up in the ignition coil and thus discharged through the spark plug. Poorly timed ignition discharges wasted energy, but electronic ignition setups have never been more reliable or polarizing, but we'll leave that verdict up to you. Setting the point gap properly is usually enough to keep an engine running well, and modern multifunction timing lights can include a dwell meter.
And there was a period of time where you needed a dwell meter to tune a carburetor.
Yes.
When they had the electronic carburetors, and I used my dwell meter doing the carburetor as well.
That's right. Because you could tell. Ooh, that's too far. Back it off a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Distributor wrench. When's the last time you used it? Remember the distributor, that funny-looking thing?
L-shaped thing.
Yeah. distributor wrench.
I've got two of them.
I got one in there.
I've got one that's a 1/2 inch, which is typically a Ford, and then I got one that's a 9/16.
His is next to his dwell meter.
Typically GM.
Yeah. Maybe we should put those on display for everybody. Say, oh, look, bunch of old guys with some old tools that well, they're all old. Nobody uses any of them anymore.
Even us. Old guys have old tools.
There's that. Pre-OBD2 diagnostic scan tools.
Tech 1 is what, in GM's phrase, it was called, was a Tech 1. Now they just plug into the OBD2 and run it through a laptop.
Yeah.
But there are certain brake systems you had to have a Tech 1 to diagnose certain brake systems.
That was not my era. Distributor machine. Remember distributor machines?
Turn the distributor. How'd that go again? And you could not only just tune the distributor for the points, but you could tune the vacuum advance of the distributor as well.
Yeah, you take the Allen wrench and stick it in the vacuum hole.
And turn it.
And turn it. Thank you.
Yep.
Here's one, and I actually saw an ad for a used one. They can't give them away. It's kind of like reel-to-reel tape recorders. An engine analyzer.
The Sun 2000.
Oh, the big one.
It hung from the rail in the ceiling. Oh, when I worked at the Oldsmobile dealership.
And all the wires were chewed up.
Yeah. Either that or the one that I'm familiar with was a big roll-around cabinet that was probably 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it took up a huge amount of wall space in the tune-up guy's slot.
And it had an oscilloscope on it, so you could look at the secondary ignition on the oscilloscope. The thing I used it most for was to charge condensers. I'd charge a
and then say, here you go.
And throw it to somebody. They catch it and zap the crap out of them.
Got it. Yes, I do.
What a guy.
Yeah. Yep. Most pneumatic tools for home shops.
Yep, gone away.
It's
everybody's gone with the wireless Makitas and stuff. So I still have my air wrench and
I guess if I looked in there, I'd probably find.
I still got an impact and the ratchet.
And then I have a butterfly as well, which is the faster.
Yeah, my
ratchet.
butterfly died, but and I got a pumpkin compressor that'll almost run the impact. It's just not big enough to hold enough volume, but it'll run the ratchet.
And I've since bought an electric battery. Ratchet. Or not ratchet, impact wrench.
Yeah, that's what I had up here last week when we was working, was the battery powered one.
Okay, here's one that I'm not familiar with the words. Babbitt bearing molds or machining jigs. Machining jigs, I got that. But what is a Babbitt bearing mold?
So think of a main bearing or a rod bearing. The softest material in there that you could literally scratch with a thumbnail, that's the Babbitt. So you would put the bearing in. Now this is like real old school, and you would smear fresh Babbitt in there, and that mold would hold it in place so that you got the correct depth of Babbitt. See, I even had, when I was turning wrenches, I even had an old valve grinding machine.
Yes.
With where you could cut the valves.
Yep.
And then you had the electric spinner that you could seat cut the valve seats as well.
We had one of those machines in a cage at Richardson Chevrolet. Nobody usually used it.
Right.
But it was there. Apparently at some point they used it.
Because you replaced the valves.
Yeah. Because it's cheaper too.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was fun. And then, this one I'm familiar with, the split rim tire tool.
Oh, that'd kill you if you didn't do it right.
Do it right.
That's exactly right. Now, they have a really thick cage that they use to blow up tires and, high pressure stuff. So that when it does release, it stays within the cage.
Well, and even when you go, because, I just recently got my tires done at discount, every time they do a tire, that final last air piece until the beads seat and pop out, they do put it inside that cage.
Yep.
Which is for the safety of the handler.
Yeah, and everybody in the shop. But with the split ring, that thing was really thick, and it was basically spring steel because you could bend it a little bit. And I'll tell you what.
You'd go shooting across the shop and
it'd shoot
tear
100
stuff
feet in the air if you did it the wrong way. You better stand back.
And those beads aren't seated once they do that. The beads aren't seated on the tire until after a few miles are driven.
Where you
And then
drive it,
it's
it flexes and gets itself
it's actually
already
seated in,
worked all the way in.
Yeah. Well, talk to me about tire beads and beads on wheels.
What about Craftsman torque wrenches, Don?
Yeah. Let me tell you about my Craftsman
Not with a
torque
12
wrench.
meter. It was, you know what? When
The
we
show
would
was
do it at
going
the
really
studio,
well.
See, we did
found it.
Jaguar and torque wrenches today.
I want you to know that I finally threw
Happy
that.
New Year.
Yeah, I finally threw that. George Skelton was tired of hearing me talk about the damn Craftsman torque wrench that they wouldn't take back because
It wasn't warranted for life.
it was warranted
George
for life.
has already posted on here.
Well, that person, that individual that denied your claim is now VP of customer relations.
Yeah,
At Snap-on Tools.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. That we don't take because they sold the entire line of Craftsman to somebody else.
Well, and because torque wrenches, to a large degree, are a thing of the past. Now they go with these angle meters. So you get the bolt down to a point, and then you put an angle meter on it, and you put 45 degrees on it all the way around, and you do another 45 degrees on it all the way around. And they say that bolt stretches a little bit, and that's a better measurement of the compression load on the gasket than a torque meter is.
I will tell you this: that one that George sent me works just fine. Thank you, George. 100 pounds of torque on the wheels on the Corvette.
And
That's
I
what
haven't
they
been
asked.
in any machine shops lately or quite some time, but I don't remember ever seeing somebody say, okay, let's go 45 degrees. Now let's
No,
go
they were
40
just cranking.
No, they're putting a torque wrench on it.
And that's what they do at Discount Tire.
And yeah,
Well, they
Well,
have that.
after there's a
they
load
have
on the
that
tire.
Torque, they have that torque to yield
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
and speaking of George, we had the Perini luncheon last week.
Thank
we
you
did
very much.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it was wonderful.
It was. It was very good. Thank you, George Skelton, for
Again, thank you.
our Perini lunch. We loved that. And we made it every year. As a matter of fact, the girls even commented on it.
Yep.
You know, this started off as some sandwich meat, and now it's turned into this thing.
A lot of
Everybody
desserts.
brings
and-
something.
Yeah, we had desserts. Kathy made that
the
wonderful.
In-Wheel Time Ladies Auxiliary, they helped out.
That's exactly right, and it was delish.
I missed out on the whiskey.
The whiskey
Cake,
cake.
yeah.
Yeah. How did you miss out?
I think I probably left a little early. I had a couple.
That-
of
She was cooking it, or she was baking it, or warming it up. But actually, the whiskey is in the sauce, not the cake itself. So when you layer it with the sauce and the
That
caramel
sauce was-
stuff,
I-
that's where the whiskey's at.
I had a pedicure.
We had some for the next couple of days after that. It was good.
It was delish. The meat, it is.
Spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, you could cut it with a fork,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like it was half raw.
It was
Ooh,
delicious.
It was
It was perfect.
delish.
Absolutely perfect.
I just figured it was the lighting, crummy lighting in the kitchen.
Well, there's that too, but that had nothing to do with the meat.
Close your eyes and just eat it. It
Yeah.
was so good.
We had some horseradish sauce, and we had the fixins were out.
Well, there was coleslaw. There was twice baked potato casserole. The main course, obviously. It bread, pumpernickel. Was it pumpernickel?
No, it was some of that in-store cooked
Sourdough.
One was sourdough, and the other was roll kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah.
Thank
it
you,
was-
George.
Thank you, George. Appreciate you.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Yes.
George Skelton is our number one fan. Always.
Yep.
I hope George got my little video that we did. I sent it to him. I had to send it in 3 parts because,
Too
stupid. Yeah, the file's too big.
Coops.
But I sent it in 3.
Remember, he's
3
the
parts.
video guy.
Yeah, live video. Shut up.
Coop's horseradish at your
Well, that's-
local market.
That's horseradish mustard.
Coop's horseradish mustard.
Yes. Well, I had a different. I actually had real horseradish in there too.
Yep, raw. I call it raw horseradish, as opposed to a lot of times people
The
mix it
fake
with sour.
horseradish.
No, they mix it with sour cream. Now you want the raw horseradish that kind of burns a little
Yeah.
It all burns.
bit. Twice.
Yes.
Did you want to make a comment there, Mr. Mars?
No, sir.
We have a little time. It's time now to get your pens and paper, boys.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Hemmings.com sold cars roundup.
Play along at home.
This one here, I put these two together because they're both 1978 models. Okay? So the first one is a 78 Chevrolet Corvette Coupe, okay, with the T-tops, all right? There's nothing fancy about it. It's got stock factory optional aluminum wheels.
Not too far from yours.
Well, years there is.
Years
Well, you
different.
mean you're talking about that one?
Yeah.
No.
But 78 had the bubble back glass, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there was also a 78 Chevrolet Corvette Coupe. That's an official pace car. At least that's what it's got on it. So we'll assume that it is a true
Pace car.
Okay? This is a lot of clones, and you can buy the
Yeah.
stickers that go on the side
What,
of
are
it.
we buying both of them together?
No, not together, but I want you to give me a price on the original coupe for 78, the Chevrolet Coupe. Okay? It's a two-tone. I think that was I don't even, is that an option? I'm not quite sure, but this one is painted in a two-tone color scheme.
Nothing
okay?
about miles.
No, we don't get into
but
that.
miles make such a difference in the price of them.
Okay,
things.
well, then
no miles.
you do your bid that way.
based on your miles.
Yeah, your miles.
How far is it to your house?
Miles,
Yeah,
oh my,
1978. So, Mr. Mars, what would you think the 78 standard-looking Corvette would be?
14.9.
Okay. Conrad?
Well, I had 14 down. I wrote 14 down.
Okay.
17.
15,750.
Mars
We're
wins.
well within a couple grand.
Now
the pace car?
Let's talk about the pace car. We'll just assume that it's original. How much would you think that the 78 clean-looking pace car would be?
23.
Mr. Mars?
19.
18.
26,250.
Wow.
So it's probably got very little mileage on it, and it looks very clean. Anyway, okay.
It's more than it was new.
Yes, most definitely.
it was.
My 77 was $11,000. Ordered from the factory, and I paid sticker price for it.
Without the trailer package on it.
No trailer package on a Corvette. God. Here you go. 84 Ford Bronco 2.
OJ.
84. No. This
Two's
is
the little one.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah.
84 Ford Bronco 2. What would you think that they'd get for that? It's kind of like a bad brown. It looks clean. Don't know anything about it really, but
Put me down for 8.
8,000.
Mm-hmm.
Conrad?
I'll go 7.
7.
I'll go 5.
Mars is the winner. $5,200.
I'm off my game today.
A 1963 Chevrolet Biscayne. Now, I will tell you, I don't want to give it all away, but my guess is this is probably a 409 car.
It's not the one from Richardson's, is it?
No, 63, not that one.
With the pinstripes down, buffed into the hood.
Yeah, or put the
Flat spotted
nut
tires.
down the carburetor and broke the motor. A 1963 Chevrolet Biscayne. Looks like a 409 to me. Just guessing. Two-door. It's a two-door.
25.
25. Mr. Mars?
No miles.
A 409 63 Chevy Biscayne.
Dual
Blue.
quad or single
33.
quad?
How much?
33.
33?
26.
$63,000.
Yowzers.
Yes. This is for Jeff. A 1984 Buick Estate wagon.
Priceless.
It's priceless. Okay.
Buick Estate wagon.
Uh-huh.
And what year?
84 Buick Estate with the wood sides on it. Applique, of course.
11,000.
11,000. Conrad?
7.
7. Mars?
Yeah, I'll go 8.
8. $9,750.
Oh.
That's 4 for Mars.
Yeah, Mike's killing it.
Yeah, and it's a clean-looking car, too.
He needs
That
to go
would
to
be
work
something.
at Emmons Autoplex.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, would it be okay if we bought an 84 Buick Estate wagon? You know what the answer to that would be?
You're
No.
fired.
You're
You're
fired. That's it. And then the final one in this game today is a 1969 Ford Torino.
I
Love the look of it.
Love the look.
Love the look of that car.
Yep.
Has it got a shaker hood?
It looks like it does, or at least a big induction hood of some sort. I'm not familiar with the model, but I would think that this would probably be. Is it a small block? Do they offer a big block in the Ford Torino?
Yeah, you can get that.
Yeah, but it was
a big
like
390
a
or
GT,
something.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I'm
got
going to
lots
say
of
25.
25,
32.
32. Mr. Mars,
22.
22,575.
Mars.
Michael.
Mars.
Wow.
Look at Mars.
You know
Well,
what?
you know they buy those. They buy those kind of cars over there.
Next
where he
week,
lives.
whatever he guesses, I'm going to add $1.
They live in those kind of cars over there in Neederville.
Just saying, he did have a little smirk on his face, kind of like, okay, that's not funny.
Whatever he has, just add $1 to it.
I was watching last week's show, and Jeff did the piece on car advertising, and one of them was about I had to sell the Harley.
Yeah, because of girlfriend's
found out.
pregnant, wife found out, lawyer
And
wants money or
and the
whatever.
only thing that you missed was they were both their sisters.
They were from that was out of the Neederville Gazette.
And both my sisters, wife and
It's the Mid-County
and girlfriend.
Review is what it's called.
The Mid-County Review. Is it a weekly paper or monthly?
No, it was a weekly. Yeah, it's
Do
been
they have
gone
a-
for years? But it was the local.
Right.
Do they have
Yeah.
a police blotter or anything, or
Oh yeah,
They had all that.
scandalous stuff?
Police blotter's easy.
yeah.
Yeah, in
Particularly
journalism.
once a week. Yeah, you just call them and say, hey,
We go down to the courthouse, find out who divorced who, and then find out who's suing who,
Is it a
who
song?
got arrested.
Who's doing who?
every Thursday it comes out.
Who's doing who?
That's true, isn't it?
You do.
You know, I'm supposed to do a car review here.
Yeah, I got you all
I
queued
just
up.
kind of,
Well, we led into that quite well, didn't we?
didn't we? Actually, why don't we do the cruise-in calendar? Do you have that? You're going to have to pick that out of there as you go from the events calendar.
Don't bite me. Cruising calendar.
He said, "Bite me." Did he say that? He said that, didn't he?
He did.
Sunday, tomorrow, Avalon Diner, Coffee and Chrome. Don will be there signing hero cards.
Bring it, because I don't have any of my own. Bring yours.
Classic Cars of Brazoria County. New Year meet is in Lake Jackson this weekend. It's 5:30 tonight. Also at 5 p.m. tonight, Brookshire Brothers Cruise-In in Montgomery at the Brookshire Brothers grocery store.
That would make sense.
Kima Car Show at the Lowe's in League City starts at 5 o'clock tonight. I know that was one that David Ainsley's son would go to with some regularity.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza and Cars at Pepperoni's on Highway 6 in Sugarland starts at 1 p.m. today, right after the show.
I wonder
far
if
from
I
here.
wonder if they give away free pizzas.
Probably
a slice or
not
two.
free. Yeah,
And
maybe.
that's not very far. It's about 3-4 miles from here.
Woodlands Coffee and Cars for a Cause. We know that's Weldon's pretty engaged in that, and so is the Northside Mustang Club. That's tomorrow morning. Starts at 6:30 to 10:30, and they ask for a donation as an entry fee. Cars and Coffee at the Aggieland Outfitters in College Station is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Cruise to Spring Cars and Coffee meet starts at 9 a.m. at the Burnham Woods Drive in Spring at the Sunoco at Burnham Woods Drive. And then Cocktails and Classics at Elevations, the barber shop off of Fondren in Houston starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Cocktails
Cocktails.
at 10
And-
o'clock. Okay.
And the regional autocross at the Police Academy. We talked to
Sergeant Woodard.
No. We talked to, oh, gosh, my name goes blank. SCCA.
Yeah,
Richard
Richard
Tomlin.
Tomlin. My mind, I could see his face. I couldn't get a name. Yeah, so that's tomorrow at the police station off there at Aldine Westfield. You can go out and watch, or you can go out and take a drive. I think he said it was $55 if you want to drive.
Conrad's
to the gate.
episode is sponsored by Prevagen.
Time now for this hour's car review. 2024 Subaru Impreza. Available trim levels include the base, the Sport, and the RS. I had the RS. Compact hatchback, it's called. I like to call it a small station wagon. You can call it what you will. That's what I call it. Seats 5 passengers, including the driver. All new redesign this year. They're no longer building the Impreza sedan.
Really?
Oh.
Nope.
Just drop
Gone. So then you say, oh, but what about the WRX?
Where'd it go? It's done?
It's done, at least for now. But
got
listen to
such a-
my review. Exterior features, sharp-looking, lowered front end with a proportional grille. Looks more like a hot rod compact wagon than traditional hatchback. You following my game there?
Yep.
Sloping rear hatch glass, attractive front and rear lighting. Silver or gray looks awesome with the black wheels. What could use improvement? A whole hot rod line of aftermarket parts, including the WRX in this car. Okay, just saying that. Do you hear me, Subaru? Interior highlights, well laid out center stack with a great big infotainment screen. The RS model has color enhanced seating in cloth that is very comfortable. Instrument cluster is good with easy to read gauges. Cargo and trunk room, well, it's small. This is a small wagon. What I liked about it, leg room for 2 adults in the back seat. Kathy and Jeff sat in the back seat.
Yeah, we went to your soiree.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Oh, that's a pretty good drive, too.
It was. Very comfortable ride. It does have the passive phone charger in there. I like that as well. What could use improvement? Nothing that I know of. 2.5-liter, 4-cylinder Boxer engine. Boxer meaning a flat.
Opposed.
Horizontally opposed 4-cylinder. 182 horsepower, which is just the right amount for that car, unless they decide they're going to put the WRX package in it. Yeah. This is the more powerful of 2 engines. The other one has a little bit less horsepower. Get this one. Torque, 178 pound-feet. CVT automatic transmission.
Only.
As far as mileage is concerned, 26 city, 33 highway for a combined of 29. I got 29.4 over 377.1 miles. What I liked, great gas mileage. What could use improvement? A WRX version, please. I wrote that right there. Ride and handling, rides like a dream. Don's best ride quality winner.
Oh, wow.
Base trim price, $27,885. Prices tested, $31. And the base model price, $24,115. Goes up against the Honda Civic for $23,950, the Mazda 3 for $25,690, and the Mini Clubman, $29,000. That is my review of the 2024 Subaru Impreza RS.
And boy, was it blue.
Did you have you said you called it a little sports car and a good ride. Did you kind of have the feeling that you wanted to kind of
toss it around a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. But it really didn't have that kind of suspension. But again, the WRX package would take care of that.
Spruce it up.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Loopy Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that help make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants invite you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
A global powerhouse in podcasting and live streaming.
All right.
Here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, the Lilienthals from the Pacific Northwest. Well, we guess that's where they are. They travel everywhere in their cars.
It could be next door.
Could be. Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you caught up on the stories making the stories. Get you caught up on the stories making news this week.
Did he proofread this?
Did I don't think I wrote it, but I didn't proofread it. Because if I'd have proofread it, that would have been different.
You wouldn't have put the stutter in it.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. Santa Claus DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday, last half hour of our weekly live program. So glad so much that you could join us today. Let's get right to it. Pacific Northwest. Let's see. It's 2 hours, 10, 9. It's 8:30 in the morning, and look who's out of bed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Andy and Mercedes Lilienthal. Hi, kids.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Well, good, and Happy New Year to you both.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. You guys, too.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you. We always love talking to you guys and find out what adventures are going on in the Lilienthal household. And I understand that we have an Alcan 5000 rally coming up.
That's right.
We do.
We leave February 19th for the Kirkland, Washington area, and then we'll leave the starting line February 21st.
So tell everybody what the Alcan 5000 rally is.
So the Alcan 5000 rally is technically a road rally. So it encompasses sections of time, speed, distance rally, competitive time, speed, distance rally, and then massively long transits to the next stop. So in a traditional TSD or time, speed, distance rally, you follow directions. It's all about being accurate, going through checkpoints at the right time, not as fast as you can, but at the right time. And like our local TSD club, the Cascade Sports Car Club, they will do a TSD on, say, a Saturday morning. Generally lasts like 3 hours, 4 hours. You may have a section where you'll do the section, and then there might be a 10-mile transit to the beginning of the next section. Alcan is like that on steroids. So
big time steroids.
You'll have your morning TSD, which might go for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then you might have an 800-mile transit to the next town.
Oh my God! Wait a minute! 800
That's
miles.
A 2-day trip.
Yep. So it's 5,000 miles plus in 10 days, and it's in sub-freezing temperatures. When we did this in 2020, they run it like the Olympics, so it's cold weather one year, winter rally, summer rally 2 years later. 2 years after that, it's going to be a winter rally. So the first time we did a winter rally in 2020, we hit temperatures as cold as minus 42 degrees.
Oh, count us in. We're in on that.
43.
43.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, because that 1 degree makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, it's a dry cold.
When it's that cold, weird stuff freezes, and it's not just always car parts.
Yeah.
Let's just put it
Grease
that way.
does weird things. Your eyes do weird things. Your camera gear does weird things. It's a totally different world up there when you get that far north. This year, we're not going as far north. The route changes each year.
We still will be going above the Arctic Circle, though. So people can visit alcan5000.com and actually see the map of where we're going this year because the route always changes, like Andy said. But yeah, we're stoked to do it again in the winter, and it is the most extreme rally in North America.
At 43 below zero, I would imagine that you would have engine block heaters.
So it kind of depends. In 2020, we took our own vehicle, one of our Japanese market diesel Mitsubishi Pajeros. In that vehicle, we had an oil pan heater. We also had a Webasto Thermotop Evo coolant heater, which circulated coolant when the car wasn't running. And without that old diesel wouldn't have started. Modern vehicles, gasoline-powered vehicles, they can, they undergo millions of miles of cold weather testing before they even see the light of day. And they have to be sold in places like Alaska, Canada, and other northern regions. So most modern ignition systems can still cope pretty well. But
and tell the audience who we're actually partnering with this year.
Yeah, so in 2024, we're partnering with Ineos Automotive, and we'll be driving their Ineos Grenadier from here in our house all the way up to Seattle, then through the entire route.
Is it an SUV?
Yes, the Ineos Grenadier is an SUV. It comes from a company called Ineos. They're kind of best known for making a host of different chemicals and whatnot.
It's the overarching company is called Ineos Group, and it's based in the UK. And I believe that there's 26 different businesses that are all underneath the Ineos Group label.
Yeah.
But Ineos Automotive is one of those that spawned off of it. So under Ineos Automotive is the brand new auto manufacturer, and the Ineos Grenadier is their very first vehicle iteration. And then underneath that are 3 different models, with the Trialmaster being the most rugged and the most off-road capable, and that's the model iteration that we will be driving.
And I understand that they're just now getting on for sale up in Canada, a couple of dealerships up there.
Yes. So they are literally, as of the last few weeks, landing on U.S. and Canadian soils. So because we live in Portland, Oregon, up here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a local dealership, Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo, in Wilsonville by us, which is about 15, 20 minutes away from where we live. I just talked to them yesterday, and they have a few left on the lot. So they had about 20 some on the lot. There's one in Seattle. There's about, I think, 18 total in the U.S., and I just got
18 dealers.
18, total dealers to start with in the U.S. Yes, thanks for the clarification. And I just talked to PR as far as the U.S. Ineos side yesterday, and they said that there are starting to be some Canadian dealerships. Vancouver area is starting to open up and selling, and then also the suburban areas in Toronto have a few dealerships that are now marketing.
And it looks, because I've found it on their website and posted it on our social media, it looks like previous generation Land Rover Defender to a degree.
Yes.
Very square box, very vertical. Pretty off-road, rugged-looking vehicle.
Yeah, very, very much so. Solid front and rear axles, available triple locked, front, center, and rear differentials. Very capable vehicle. Factory BF Goodrich KO2s. We're actually swapping our tires out. We absolutely love BF Goodrich KO2s. We run them on our own four-wheel drives. But because this is a dedicated winter rally, we decided to go with a dedicated winter tire. So we're actually running Michelin X-Ice tires. So we're going to make sure that we get the maximum traction in that snow and ice up there.
And those would be studless, right?
It's a studless tire. It's going to be the factory 265/70/17 tire size. We're not going up or down a size, but we're gonna make sure that's on winter rubber.
Yep.
Where are these built at?
So they're built actually in a town right on the border of Germany and France called Hambach. Mercedes has actually been there.
In France, yes. Yeah, I had the opportunity, probably a year and a half ago, maybe more, to visit Hambach, France. And it's actually part of a smart car factory for Mercedes-Benz. And visit the tour of the factory and actually do some off-roading with some earlier stage prototypes, the PTO 2 prototypes. That was really cool because I had a chance to drive the diesel versions. And I wish we had the diesels here because they're really, really, really cool. But I had a chance to drive the left-hand drive and right-hand drive prototypes. And then last January, actually be invited back to do the global media drive event for the production-ready vehicles.
Well, the reason I ask is, you're going to such an extreme environment. Do they? Is that something they're really comfortable dealing with, or are they just really stepping out on a limb here?
No.
Yeah, it's no, I think that they're really comfortable. I think Andy, you're about to say that they've tested.
I was.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they've tested over 1 million miles in the Scandinavian countries. Very cold, very, very cold, very similar conditions to what will be going in. And the car, the vehicle is powered by an inline 6 turbo BMW engine. It's an engine that is for sale in the United States in BMWs and is the same, if not very similar to, but it's the same as the engine that's in the Toyota Supra. So this is not newfangled technology or unproven powertrains. This is something that is it's a pretty stout and bulletproof engine.
And when I very first met the team, the PR team, and saw the very first handcrafted prototype land in the U.S., actually in Texas, believe it or not, I talked with them, and they mentioned the Alcan 5000 to me, which I thought was really interesting. So they did their homework on who I was and endurance rallying and stuff like that. So it was really cool that they knew of some of these really off-road, on-road, really tougher competitions. And so throughout that iteration of the last couple of years, we've kind of stayed in touch. And now that the vehicles are starting production, really starting to get out there. And we've been really fortunate and humbled that we are partnering for it.
Now, are we going to be able to follow you on this?
Yeah, so of course we'll be posting on our own social media. So Instagram, Crankshaft Culture on Instagram, Crankshaft Culture on Facebook. I'm sure we'll be putting together some videos eventually for YouTube, our Crankshaft Culture channel, and then of course articles in a variety of magazines as well as our own website, crankshaftculture.com.
Cool. How do you pack for something like that?
Well, it's funny you mention that.
Lots of puffy clothing.
Yeah. It's funny you mention that. So we're actually going down to Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo today to go measure one out to make sure that we bring the appropriately sized bins and whatnot. So, but to your directly answering your question, you pack like you have to survive. And so you bring the warmest clothes, you bring dehydrated food in case, and you pack as if you're expecting to have to be outside or sleep in the vehicle.
And it's not only about, the vehicle having the necessary parts to survive, like the oils, the fluids, the belts, all the parts that you're thinking, okay, this, breaks or whatnot. I mean, heck, when we had the Mitsubishi Pajero, a lot of parts you couldn't get, Of course, if you're near in Tuktoyaktuk in the Arctic Ocean and something catastrophic happens with that engine, so we had a huge box, a Rome box that we brought with us just of parts. But we ourselves had to pack with a lot of clothing too. So we're fortunate in the Pacific Northwest that we have some big name retailers that are based here. So, for instance, Under Armour, Columbia Sportswear, Mountain Hardwear, Sorel, all those different companies are based here. So we spend a lot of money in good clothing because it's kind of like the buy once, cry once. But if you're in negative 43 or there's a blizzard, which we've had to blow through that blizzard, you have to be prepared and you have to be warm. So,
well. Go ahead.
I was just we're going to do the Bahama 200 next month.
The Bahama 200.
We're going to do the Bahama 200.
That's 200 drinks. It has nothing to do with mileage.
200 margaritas.
Yeah.
We're packing.
Right. I wouldn't mind that after the Alcan 5.
We're packing an extra
Yeah,
towel.
yeah, exactly.
And
I'll join you down there.
In your speed time distance rallying, have you ever found yourselves kind of parking out of sight for a few minutes, making sure you crossed your location at the correct time?
Sandbagging.
Yeah, the time speed distance part of it is
hair raising.
Yeah,
sometimes
we have done a number of them, and it's one of those things where they go really quickly, and you just got to live in the moment, and you've just got to make sure that you've taken that right turn or the left turn or whatnot, and you may figure out that afterwards we had it happen on a winter one where we're crossing the finish line and suddenly the car that was behind us is in front of us. We're like, wait, how did that happen? When did it pass? That's not supposed to happen. So it's fast and furious during the TSD rallies, and one mistake can throw you off of the entire event.
And I think you can tell who's the driver and who's the navigator. So
yeah, the driver, by the way, never knows where we're going ever.
Neither does the navigator.
It's always the joke. all the drivers were sitting around at breakfast going, "Hey, where are we headed today?" I don't know. Nobody knows. It's always the navigator. Trust me, I'm here to tell you, the driver's got the easier part of this. She's got the hard part. She's got to tell us all where we're going or where she and I are going. And she might tell me to take a wrong turn. I might get us lost. It's all part of it. Stuck. That's happening.
Can you use GPS?
So we actually can. Yeah. There are a variety of classes, but we can use GPS. But we generally just use the route book that's included.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is for us is there's a route book, and we're running the seat of pants class. So that's basically the equipment that the vehicle has in a simple calculator. But with this rally group, you can use a simple odometer that's digital. You can use GPS, but the problem is the route book says, turn left at Smith Street, go 26 miles per hour for 0.2 miles, then turn right at John Street. I don't know why I'm doing guys' names, but John Street, increase speed to 37 kilometers or miles per hour. Blah blah blah. So you can't put those into a GPS. So
right.
It's my job to understand all of that, and it's literally just listed line by line by line by line with incremental, mileages, times, all that. I have to figure out the incremental times, but it's mileages, and all of that, and it's about a half an inch thick of 5,000 miles.
Plus, it's a running odometer. The entire rally is a running odometer. So from mile 0 to mile 5,000, even if you're not competing, when you're doing these hundreds of miles of transit, it'll still say that, at some point, you're going to have to turn off the highway and take this other highway at mile 3,642.
0.25.
Yeah. And so, it's we want to keep on that route book. So we don't generally use the GPS. We have used it if we've gotten turned around a little bit, just where we got off the highway or whatnot. So
the biggest thing is they're not trying to get you lost. It's not a trap rally because they don't want you to die.
Right.
This year,
That's good.
2024.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this because it's such a severe endurance rally, right? And this year is the 40th year iteration. So it started in 1984. So we're very humbled to be a part of it for a third iteration, shall we say. So 2020, 2022, we partnered with Subaru of America, now 2024 with Ineos Automotive. But their main goal is to keep everybody together, so we all have buddy cars.
Be safe.
And then we all have emergency communications, too. So
is Ineos going to send somebody with you?
No. So we did ask, however, to make sure that, heaven forbid something does come up, that we have access to at least call somebody.
Like an
and be like,
engineer
hey, we're having this issue. What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a pretty proven engine and drivetrain combination. It's not some, one-off bit of sorcery here. So
they've done a lot of severe duty cold testing in the Scandinavian Arctic during the winter, and so we're feeling pretty confident about being able to take it up to the Arctic in Canada here and in Alaska. And the furthest north that we're going to do is we do all the what they call optional extreme controls, which is basically all the batshit crazy, pardon my language, all the batshit crazy, endurance stuff. So all the extra legs, all the extra routes, and that the furthest north we'll go this year will be to Coldfoot, Alaska. So that's on the day off when a lot of people choose to take the day off to go to the chain of hot springs, and we will instead drive all the way half up to Prudhoe Bay, grab our gasoline, and come back home.
So what the thing she didn't mention was the extreme challenges net you more points.
Right.
So if you don't do that, you don't get the extra points. So and if you get more points, obviously you have a better chance of getting trophies and so on and so forth.
Right.
So we hear, Andy, you've been preparing for this since the Halloween blizzard of '91, correct?
I am impressed that you know.
You could thank Dan Wicklum for that.
Oh yes, I know Dan. I went to high school. Look, I went through all school with Dan. But yeah, absolutely. It's every Minnesotan remembers where they were in '91 during that blizzard. So
oh, fun. Well, Andy and Mercedes, we sure appreciate you sharing the story with us. We can't wait to talk to you when you get back. We're going to schedule that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Well, Mars will be.
We talked about we may try and talk to them once they got the vehicle in their hand to kind of get a look at the vehicle if we could set up something to do.
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Cool.
And maybe we could do remote from the Arctic Circle.
Well, there you go. Yeah, good luck on that. Well, thank you and best of luck to you both. We're with you all the way, and we sure appreciate you taking the time this early morning for you West Coasters out there, and we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for having us on, guys.
Thank you so much.
Y'all take care. We'll be safe. We look forward to the end result. All right, y'all be good. All right, time now for Conrad's This Week in Auto History.
Well, a friend of mine, Don Hartman, always told me nothing ever changes in the car business. In 1921, the International Motor Company registered the Mack trademark for its 1911 for its trucks, and the reason I say nothing has changed, it had 28-inch wheels back then. It was all ready for some of the car shows that are going on.
The original donk.
Today, right. In 1926, General Motors officially introduced Pontiac at the New York Motor Show as a companion brand to their modestly priced Oakland line. Soon after, Pontiac sales began to really take off, and it far outsold Oakland. The increasing sales figures led for GM to shut down Oakland in 1932 and focus on their hot new car, Pontiac, thus becoming the only automotive brand mark to survive its parent company. In 1980, Jimmy Carter signed a bill authorizing $1.2 billion in federal loans to save the failing Chrysler Corporation.
That's not Jimmy Carter.
No, but that's Mr. Iacocca, who took the $1.2 billion.
Saved the company.
The big three American car companies had suffered through the 70s as Japanese competitors led by Honda and Toyota outperformed them in quality and price, and to a large degree still do. In 1985, GM launched the Saturn Corporation as a wholly owned but independent subsidiary within General Motors. Saturn, a sporty and affordable plastic-bodied two-door, was their original car. That's the four-door that I pictured there.
We see that.
But the new midsize Saturn sedan also came as a station wagon. Did you ever get either of you two guys ever get a Saturn to drive?
Nope.
My brother-in-law had one. Yeah. They loved it.
Not bad. Very good cars. Very interesting selling technique. They were one price car. There was no negotiation. You bought a Saturn for whatever was on the sticker. And then in 1989, Dodge introduced the Viper at the North American International Motor Show. The Viper was a modernized tribute to the classic Shelby Cobra, which won rave reviews by the company, and Dodge delivered a production version in 1992, just 3 years later. Really made history with that car. And then in 1994, Dodge introduced the Neon. And of the Neon, they also had an SRT4 version with a 230 horsepower. Oh, that's the General Motors EV1, the first electric car sold by General Motors. And then the Dodge Neon was after that, next. Okay. Back to you, Don. I thought I sent the pictures correctly, but I need to look up instead of read, right?
Yeah, and there's that.
We got you covered.
Vietnamese automaker VinFast added to its growing list of franchise dealerships in the U.S. as the electric vehicle brand shifts away from its direct sales model in favor of third-party retailers. EV Startup announced 4 independent stores this week: Smith Haven VinFast in St. James, New York; Principal VinFast, Grapevine near Dallas; Hiley VinFast in Fort Worth, and VinFast Wichita in Kansas. The new dealerships are in addition to VinFast's first franchise dealership in the U.S., Leith VinFast in Cary, North Carolina. Leith store is near the site where VinFast is building its first U.S. assembly plant to make electric crossovers that will form the backbone of its lineup.
They won't last long.
Now, Vietnamese. Now, I'm sorry, I don't see that being a long term, but
banh mi and a pho.
They're to be in deep kimchi if they have to recall them.
That's Korean.
Deep kimchi. Mars, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Deep kimchi.
I'm trying not to say anything.
Number of electric vehicle models eligible for a consumer tax credit as of as much as $7,500 fell sharply as new rules from the Biden administration kicked in on January 1st.
Your tax dollars at work.
Narrower criteria reduced the number of qualifying models to 13 from about 24, according to federal data from fueleconomy.gov. The new rules exclude from the tax credit vehicles that use battery components made by Chinese manufacturers. All right.
A transfer of wealth. The government taking your money to give it to people to do things they don't want to normally do.
There is that.
Which is buy an electric car.
All right. Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show streaming on podcasting and looking everywhere. It's looking good, and you can find us everywhere. Stay with us.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana? Stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Well, that's it for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk show. Here's your invitation to follow us on Facebook. Give us a like, tell your friends about us, share our stuff. We'll keep you posted on all things automotive all week long, including award-winning interviews, new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing, car, truck, and SUV goodies. When you need a car fix during the week, you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk show 24/7 via the iHeartRadio app. We live stream this show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m. Central Time. Daily 30-minute podcasts available on your favorite streaming provider. We post a fresh episode every day. The In Wheel Time Marketing Advertising Advisor and Video Technical Director is We Need More Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent, Do It All, and Schoolmaster Mike Mars. Mr. Know-It-All, His Royalty King Conrad DeLong. Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. We hope you join us for another live, award-winning production of the In Wheel Time Car Talk show next Saturday, January 13th, on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week.